gamers, and welcome to episode 481 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for January 11th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's been going on, Dominic?
All right, man. So everybody had happy holidays, happy New Year, and everything. So now we are in a new year. We're in 2025. Man, it's been crazy, man. The start of the new year has been a lot of crazy shit been happening around the world.
It's definitely been eventful.
Yes, we had our first snow storm around here, but it's been pretty all right though around here. Doing this, it wasn't like too bad here, but thing is, I know the South has been getting some snow, and I think any type of snow, it could be an inch of snow. That's a little too much for them.
Yeah.
And then you got over in the West, you got the freaking LA burning and shit. And so, yeah, it's been a crazy start of year, and we still got inauguration to go. So
yeah.
so there you go. Oh yeah, Jimmy Carter passing away at 100 years old. Yeah. That is crazy. That's crazy that to get to 100 is crazy to me. For humans and for a guy who was a president, but you know what? Maybe that's because he wasn't a two-term
yeah.
president. So it didn't take away too much of his life. Him being one term let him live to be that old.
That means Joe's got like 20 more years to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he was only one term. So let's see where I want to start with. So I guess to start with sports, real quick, like a lot. All events like sporting world has been going crazy. You got because now we got the NCAA playoffs for football, and now we are down. As of this podcast, we are down to just two teams. We're finally at the championship. Ohio State is playing against Notre Dame. And, I mean, in my time of watching college football, I'd never seen Notre Dame in the championship. Always heard about their history because they had a whole lot of history. I know that was something that my dad always talked about, like how he always saw Notre Dame football on Saturdays because they had their own channel. I mean, they had their own channel, too, when I was there, but they weren't that good when I was watching. They were okay. They were just an okay team. They never got to a status of like a championship team. They might be up there in the top 5 at the beginning of the year, maybe, but then they always fall down. And I always heard about the history of the Catholics versus convicts when they played against Miami, and I always thought it was cool. But that was I was really, really young, so I wasn't watching college football then. I didn't start watching college football probably until late middle school, and that was only championship games. I definitely didn't watch regular season. And I started watching regular seasons probably till late high school. So yeah, I mean it's been all right. The playoffs been okay. I mean I know people be bitching and complaining and saying like, oh, certain teams would have been there, they would have been better, but then those certain teams lost their games and the regular bowl games, so it's like they improved nothing. And then also, I mean, you gotta win your games in the regular season, or like someone said, but then fuck the regular season. Don't have a regular season. So NFL football, like playoffs are here, man. As of this podcast, the first round would be over. So what I have here is that we have the Ravens playing against Pittsburgh. That's tonight's game. Hopefully the Ravens win by the time you hear this.
Yeah.
And well, sorry, Pittsburgh fans, but I mean, listen, y'all want to win because y'all want to fire y'all coach so y'all can get better. So you don't want to keep this going. Anyway, and then you have the first game is actually the Texans playing against, I want to say the Chargers. So that I don't know who will win. I would pick the Chargers to win. Only because Texans hasn't looked. I mean, they did win their last game, but I don't think they look great. Their overall the last few games, but we'll see. Then you have on Saturday, you got the
Sunday.
What you got? I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, Sunday. You got. I know Eagles are playing against the Packers.
Yeah.
I hope the I'm kind of hoping the Packers do upset on the Eagles. But thing is, if the Washington is playing the night game, and they're playing against Tampa Bay, of course I'm rooting for Washington. But I wanted Washington to play the Eagles in the first round. Yeah. I mean, I know like that they are the better team, but I felt like, hey, we had a chance to upset like the so-called second best or best. I mean, it's between them and the Lions. Who's the best team? Like upset them in the first round. I was like, yeah, especially set up Philadelphia fans because they bitch so fucking much and make so many fucking excuses. It's ridiculous. Like it's like you're the better team. It's like, dude, y'all supposed to beat us, and like they made so many excuses in that game that we beat them in, where they say, oh, Jalen Hurts got hurt and blah blah blah. But it's like you have number one defense. Jalen Hurts don't play defense, and also we gave y'all 5 turnovers, or it's really 6 because one of those turnovers was on downs. So like that's not included in the turnover column, but that's the turnover, man. And it's like you had basically almost 6 turnovers, and y'all were up by 2 scores on us. And y'all didn't win. It's like that's no excuse. I'm sorry, you can't make an excuse for somebody getting hurt at that point. Like nobody wins having 6 turnovers. Nobody. Yeah. Like that's just ridiculous. So I really wanted to see them, but I hope we get revenge on Tampa Bay because we lost. That was our game we lost in the beginning of the season, the first game of the season, and that was our biggest loss. Was the first game. Like that was the only game I think we lost that actually was by like 2 scores or more than at least 1 score. Because every game we lost, it was close. Like every game we've been most of the games we've been in were close, but the games we lost were close, except for that one. So playing against this team that now we're a different team. I mean, so are they, but like we really are a different team. Like we talking about, we had a rookie quarterback, and now he's going through a season where, like, I'm sorry, like it's for people who don't watch the team, and like I get it. Why you would say, oh, he's not the runaway rookie, but he might come win the rookie of the year. Like, yeah, you didn't watch the team, and that's okay because you're ignorant to it, and I get it. No, I'm not telling people to watch every fucking game, but I've seen Bo Nix play. I've seen Caleb Williams play. Like I've seen a lot of those games, and I'm sorry, Jayden was in the point of talking of MVP. Like he's not on that level. He's not on a rookie level. What Bo Nix has done is great. Like what he's done is great. If Jayden Daniels didn't exist, he'd be a runaway rookie. But he does. Jayden Daniels on the level of like he should be in MVP conversation because he is the reason why we're here. Yeah. The difference between us and everyone else, why people thought Caleb Williams at the beginning of the year was going to have like a great year is because of the team he had around him. He had a great defense. He had receivers. Bo Nix has a team around him. I mean, this is why people thought Russell Wilson was going to do great with the Broncos. But Russell Wilson, for whatever reason, didn't do great with him. So Bo Nix comes, and he had some bad games, but overall, he had a lot of support. And that's good. I mean, that you were one support. Honestly, the only support fucking Jayden Daniels had was one wide receiver. And that's it. And he's not even... Now, some people want to... Like, some Washington fans want to include him and say, like, he is a top 5 wide receiver. Honestly, thing is, I like what somebody said. Just look at all the wide receivers and say who he will replace. And I got to a number that was, like, close to 10 that I'll say, I don't know if he's better. He's better than... And that's not saying he's bad. He's really a good damn wide receiver. But there are wide receivers that I think are better. And that's not a knock against him, man. Maybe people would say it that way. Let's just tell you that there's quite a few good wide receivers out there, and he's not the best one, but he's good enough. You don't need the best one to win everything because most times I don't see people have the best wide receivers who win the whole thing. All you need is a great quarterback. And in the times of defense, it was just to have a good defense. Mm-hmm. But like Jayden is the reason why we're here. Like the amount of support he has, like our defense is adequate. Like we have our days, but we're not that great. We don't stop the run. And like look at the comeback games he had to do. and he's a rookie. So it's like, dude, this dude is on another level. Like, it's amazing what we have done with this guy. Like, how confident we are just because he's back there. And, yeah, so I'm like, he's Rookie of the Year. Like, that's no question. Like, there's no argument for him. Now, as far as MVP goes, I mean, I favor Lamar Jackson. And, yeah, I mean, you can say, hey, there's some bias to that because I am in Baltimore. So I favor that. And that's fine. But I looked at when I look at the stats, I'm like how many turnovers he had? I mean, how many interceptions he had? He had like 4 interceptions in a year, and for like 4,000 plus yards passing, and then he had I forgot how many yards rushing, and then like his stats are insane. Now, if you want to look at what you call his stats, Josh Allen's stats, they're great too, but he has more interceptions than Lamar has. Lamar didn't turn the ball over. And the support of Lamar, now, he has Derrick Henry. Some people say, oh, he has Derrick Henry on his team. But I never known a running back to help you get more yards passing. I always think they would take yards away from you. Like, how is that he has a better year than last year in passing, in yardage, in every category? Like, I was thinking, like, oh, he'll have less passing yards because of Derrick Henry. Not more. He would have less touchdowns because of Derrick Henry. Not more. Like, his statistics are out there. And then if you want to look at, like, receivers, come on, Josh Allen has better receivers than the Ravens. Like, that's it. Like, Flowers is their best receiver, who he is an all-star, but I think it's one of those other questions. I'm like, if you were to pick, like, look at all the receivers in the NFL, like, who would Flowers replace in, like, another team? And I think he'll be down there. Like, he's a great receiver. But I think Lamar, he's a big part of that. And it is, yeah. What Lamar's done is ridiculous. Like, I think he's an MVP. And Lamar's an MVP. And Josh Allen's close. And I think some people who joke, they say they're gonna give Josh Allen the MVP because of, like, that's the DEI MVP right there, because Lamar won it twice, so they gotta give it to somebody else. Yeah. And I mean, it's pretty funny, but yeah, some people say fatigue, and I'm like, fatigue. He only won 2, and then if he's the best, he's the best. Like, I mean, if he's the most valuable player, he's the most valuable player. Yeah. Like, for me, I feel like you're trying to find all the excuses for Josh Allen to be MVP. Like, when we have to try that hard, that's when it gets to a point where, okay, is he really the MVP then? Like, I don't think you need to try that hard. Like, if it's that close, I think it's close, but not that close. I think after you look, when I see the 4 interceptions thing, man, I'm like, yo, I'm sorry. To do that many passes, to only get 4 interceptions, to get over 4,000 something yards, only have 4 interceptions, that's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. Like, you should have, like, at least, like, 10 interceptions, and that would be fine. It was like, okay, yeah, I mean, you threw the ball that much, you should get 10 interceptions. Dude, he only has 4. Dude, they don't turn, like, the games they lose because of them. I mean, and that's honesty. That's all honesty, yo. They don't get their asses whipped. They do some stupid shit to lose. That's why they lose. And then they blew the fuck out of the Bills when they played them. Like, it wasn't even it wasn't a game. It was supposed to be game of the week. That game was sorry. It was one-sided. Ravens. I think he should. I think Lamar Jackson's MVP. And I think the Ravens, like, this year, you can talk about the defense, like, probably not being super great, but their defense, they're good enough to win the whole thing. Like, this year is this is it. Like, this is Super Bowl. Is it a Super Bowl bust with them? Yes. Because they should have at least went there last year. They should have went there last year, and they should have beat the freaking Chiefs. But I don't know what the fuck the play call was all about. But this year, yo, like, there's no excuses for you. Like, at this point, like, I wouldn't even care if they say some shit like maybe Harbaugh should go if they lose. Because at that point, I'm like, something's got to change. Yeah. Because if you lose, because Lamar's playing the best he's ever played ever. And this is the best almost any quarterback has ever played ever. this is when you should win. Like this is when you should win. There's no excuses for that or anything. What's the other game that's being played? You also got the Vikings are playing against the Rams. I think that's the Monday night game, I want to say. That Vikings look bad against the Lions. Lions really destroyed them at like especially that second half. But I don't know. That's a toss up. I don't know who's gonna win that one. But my predictions. Here's my prediction. Like, here's what I think will happen. I honestly think. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to pick against the Chiefs. Even though the Chiefs hasn't looked that great, they only lost one game. I just feel like the Chiefs are gonna find a way to win these games and at least be there. I think it's gonna be Chiefs and Lions, and I'm gonna say the Lions will win. Now, what I want to happen is be Ravens and Washington. The Ravens and the Commanders win.
Yeah.
I mean, go. And I still want the Commanders to win. But like, the thing is, I think it's either the Chiefs are going to go or the Ravens are going to go, and they're going to play against the Lions. If the Ravens play against the Lions, I'll say the Ravens win. If the Chiefs play against the Lions, I want to say the Lions will still win. I think the Lions. Yeah, I mean, but overall, I just have a feeling like whatever happens, I mean, except for the Ravens going. If the Ravens don't go and the Chiefs don't go, I just think the Lions will go, though. I just think the Lions will go to the Super Bowl. I think. I think it's them. And if I was picking another team to go, like, who I think will really go, it's the Eagles. I think it's between the Lions and the Eagles, who will be in the championship for the NFC. I'm thinking the Lions will go. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles go. Now, if anybody else goes, I'll be sort of shocked if anybody else would go, though. If anybody else is in the Super Bowl besides those two teams. And on the AFC side, I'll be shocked if it's anybody other than the Ravens and the Chiefs, who's in the Super Bowl. Like if the Bills make it, I'll be shocked. I mean, good for them, but I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Who are paying the Bills? The Bills are playing against the Bo Nix team, the Broncos. Yes. So that I'm curious to see how the Broncos do against the Bills. Because I know I hate for Bill Nix. Like that's one thing with the with social media. Like if you want to pump up somebody, like to say they're greatest, you got to put down the other person. You got to put them down. That seems like that's the rule. You got to say why they suck, and well, it's not so much why this other team guy is better. You got to say why this other guy sucks. But I don't think Bo Nix sucks. I don't think he sucks. I think he's really good. He's turned out to be with Caleb Williams, like he's the bad with the Bears. I know some people will look at it and say like, "Oh, Caleb Williams suck." That's also another thing with people not watching football. Now, Caleb Williams have done like maybe held the ball too long. That's a problem. But that's a problem with during veteran quarterbacks too. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that's a problem. That's a problem he could fix. He's a rookie. Like at the end of the day, you gotta remember these guys are rookies. But also that team, the whole team is just like bad. Like they have players, but the whole like chemistry, whatever, like the organization kind of reminds me of what we were, what Washington was. So I just think it's a bad organization because they're gonna get rid of they get a new coach and everything. So I'm hoping he'll get a coach that can work better with him because I think he has it. I mean, I think Killers is. I mean, there's a reason why he's number one. Hell, the guy was the one last year. He looked horrible, but the Carolina was horrible. And this year, at the end of the year, he looked better. They didn't look great, but he looked a whole lot better than what he was young. So I was like, see, I mean, maybe change helped that, and also time and change helped it better. Now, does that mean that would transfer next year? That doesn't mean that, but I can see a potential, at least of it. And like with Caleb, I think he's better than what he is. I think Bears got a good quarterback. It's just, do they have the people around him? And I'm not just talking about players. Just like coaches, really, because the players, they got players. like I said, the team around him was better than ours. The team that Bears had was better than Washington's. It was just, I think the organization was just bad while we were making ours better. So yeah, this is gonna be a big weekend for football. So yeah, so that's it. So what's going on with wrestling, man? They finally had Netflix. Netflix finally showed off Raw, and so how was that?
Yeah, so a couple of things. First up, I think the last time we recorded, AEW wasn't on Max yet either, so that's now available on a streaming service as well.
Okay. Now, can you look at old AEW matches on Max or just the live
There
stuff?
is some old stuff. I think they have all the pay-per-views from 2019 as well as all the Dynamites from 2019. But I don't think they
2019?
have.
Wow.
Yeah, when the year they started. I don't think they have anything else yet. I think their intention is to roll that stuff in, but yeah. But they didn't get the pomp and circumstance that the deal with Raw going to Netflix did at all.
They're too good for that, Daniel. That's why.
It's also worth mentioning that not only is Raw on Netflix, but in other countries, they also have the deal for NXT and SmackDown. So if you have Netflix and a VPN, you can potentially watch all of that content on there, which is pretty cool. To finally have, like, basically again, since, I mean, even when the network was available, they didn't have the live shows on there. So if you aren't a regular cable subscriber, there is now an easier way to do that, since it seems like Netflix is one of the more, like, lenient companies on VPN use, because, like, that's a lot of the like podcast and YouTube advertisements for any of the VPNs are like, unlock the full Netflix catalog. You can watch all the things that they limit you from watching.
Okay, well, so over here, what do they limit us from watching?
Weird British shows and SmackDown and NXT, Dominic. That's what they're limiting us.
Oh,
no,
okay.
they just mean like licensing deals, really. But they try and angle it like Netflix is trying to keep things away from us because, you know, we pay for a subscription. We should be able to watch everything that Netflix has ever made a license for, even if it's, you know, in other countries. But anyway,
so
yeah.
nothing worth anything then. Like for us, it's nothing worth anything. Maybe for them though. For people out of the country.
Exactly.
I'm like, well, yeah. Because what's I want to know what's worth it that I'm missing in another country.
If I'm from another country, I can finally watch Interstellar on Netflix.
For another country, yeah, I can see, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the benefit, is I can finally watch Christopher Nolan's, you know, masterpiece. That's just the one that keeps popping up. Like, is the main new thing on Netflix now, and I'm like, oh, hey, I should probably watch that now.
I'm so mad you haven't seen that.
Yeah,
and you could have saw it in theaters again too. They had put it out in theaters.
That involves going to a theater. Does anybody do that nowadays, Tony? All right, so get down to the show real quick. They tried to pass it off like it was going to be like a gigantic, like, pay-per-view level thing. You know, I was even talking about it, you know, the matches that they were advertising, Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan and Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, stuff like that. Now, those were fine matches. They were all right. CM Punk did end up beating Seth Rollins. Rhea Ripley did beat Liv Morgan. But it was still Raw in a lot of fundamental ways, which means there was a lot of promo time. In this case, they brought The Rock back. He basically opened the show after Triple H did his, you know, "Are you ready?" thing after a nice video package about, like, the history of wrestling and how they came to be on Netflix. But The Rock, man,
he showed the piles of money.
The Rock was basically showing the piles of money. He spent so much time just like, he was doing like an acceptance speech. He was like, I want to thank the Netflix executives who we have over here and this person and Cody Rhodes. And, like, people are absolutely, like, pissed off because like The Rock effectively like ended any of the storylines that he had pretty much set up previously. Like everybody was like, "Oh yeah,
Rock's
gonna fight Cody. The Rock's gonna fight Roman," and instead, he comes out and he goes, "This guy's been carrying the company on his back," and I'm like, "Is he talking about Triple H?" And he's like, "Cody Rhodes," and I'm like, "Okay."
That shit you do behind the scene talks or something like that. Like on a podcast or something, like you talk about behind the scenes, like that's when you think those guys like. I feel like on the stage, it's the stage. It's always the stage.
Yeah,
it's always the show. So but like if you do like behind the scenes talks and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, I think these guys like you don't do that there. Like that is a little weird. That I will find that to be a little like we all know that it's all fake, but it's like don't. But still, like, this is supposed to be like here is where you do the show. Like you be the character, and you do that stuff, behind scenes and stuff like that,
Yeah, and then even one of the matches I forgot to mention, Roman versus Solo for the Ula Fala, the title of head of the table, tribal chief. That was basically a bloodline match where, these guys have like a 15-20 minute match, and then, members of each side of the bloodline at this point comes in and interferes, and that stuff all happened. Roman ended up winning. The Rock comes out, and you're like, oh, something's going to happen. The Rock puts the Ula Fala on his neck, and he goes on about his business, So and there have been rumors that The Rock was not going to be involved in a match at WrestleMania this year, but this pretty much puts the stamp on that, I would say. He's basically just like, yeah, I'm good. The Rock also appeared on NXT, which was kind of funny because like NXT is just like such a small thing at this point. His daughter is the on-screen general manager of NXT, so I guess it makes sense.
She's general manager?
Yeah, she's the general manager. She's the person setting up the matches and all that stuff on screen. She's not doing the actual booking. That's Shawn Michaels right now.
Okay. Does she still wrestle?
No. I think they realized that maybe that was not going to be her strongest suit. And depending on which parts of the internet, the acting aspect of the general manager role may also not be her strongest suit. But I think she's mostly fine in what she's doing. And it's a developmental brand anyway. Like, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, so Raw in general was okay. I like having the ability to watch it on Netflix now. I also really appreciated the fact that I went to sleep before the show was over, and I was able to pick up where I had left off, because some things they treat like the live shows separate from like the video on demand once you can access that later on. Mm-hmm. And this, I was just able to pick up exactly where I had turned it off before falling asleep. So I thought that was very nice. The one thing I'm quite surprised by is there's no, like, even if you go into Peacock right now, it's like movies, TV, and then like a separate section for WWE. I'm surprised with how much money Netflix has put into this, that is not its own little genre thing yet. Really?
That's what I was thinking. Like they would have a section for WWE.
Yeah.
Something like that. So you can see all the old stuff. Like, I'm surprised they didn't get all that.
That's the other thing is, like, I don't know how much of the old stuff they're going to get. Like, it's not necessarily like this is the WWE network now, because you still have the pay-per-views on Peacock. You still, theoretically, in America at least, have SmackDown on USA, which means it's not live streaming anywhere, but you can watch it like 3 weeks from now on Peacock or something, I think. And NXT's on CW, so that has its own, like, if you get the CW app or something, and you probably need like I don't know if you need a cable provider for that, because that's theoretically an antenna channel. Yeah, so it's really messy, especially coming from a company that at one point pioneered the like, this is our app, this is where you can watch all of our content. And it's honestly been kind of downhill from there, because even when they made this Peacock deal, obviously in some aspects it's like a better deal because you're getting the wrestling, but you're also getting all the other like Peacock related movies and TV if you want to watch that. But when the network was around, like, you could search for a wrestler's name and find every match, and it would take you to that point in that show, like the beginning of that match.
You know what? That is cool.
Yeah.
That you say that.
So like,
and what about commercials too? Because Peacock, I gotta go through commercials.
So commercials,
because the old stuff.
Yeah, commercials are complicated, I guess. In America, you just kind of get your regular commercials, even on Netflix. You know, same with the NFL. It was like, hey, your ad-free thing allows you live stream.
Oh, I don't mind commercial on that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, you mean like on the old stuff?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not totally sure, to be honest with you. Now, if I'm watching the next day, it still has commercials. So
can you fast forward through them?
I believe you actually could, because I think I was.
Well, then that's I'm
it's
fine
not
with
so
that.
bad, right? It's just like having it on a DVR, basically, at that point.
Yeah. While the Peacock one, I couldn't.
Yeah. Peacock is. Yeah.
Unless I guess if you buy the upgraded, maybe you buy service,
the no ad thing.
Yeah,
that's how the Raw was in. If you watch it with like a VPN, what I was seeing is like it would go to a commercial break, but like before the match happens, but that would just be like a video package of like the match stuff, which is what they would do for like the pay-per-views. And then during the match, if it went to an ad, it would fade to black, but then it would come back up to the match with commentary and everything. Like they just kept going, and then it would fade back out and fade back in like it was coming back from commercial, but you actually never saw commercials, which I think like that's just awesome. So I don't know what it is about, like, why is it other countries just get these shows without commercials at all, and then why are we stuck with all of these commercials? You know,
they don't have the products we have.
that's it. They're underprivileged. They don't have the amazing consumer goods that we have. But yeah, it's even though the show wasn't like spectacular per se, I like that the era that we're in now, where all of this stuff is available on streaming services, and I don't have to go back to like worrying about whether I need USA Network or Peacock and Fox and this and that and the other. So should be good, Dominic.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't catch on fire either while they were out there.
Yeah, and it was yeah. Jeez, yeah. Didn't realize that's what you meant at first. But like also the actual streaming was good too. Like it held up.
Oh yeah, I heard it was pretty good. I mean, the NFL kind of like helped us see the precursor of what potentially it could be. How good it
they
could
were
be.
like, we're not going to mess this up with with how much money we spend on NFL rights. So,
all right. So I guess we get into what we've been watching, but I don't know. Have you watched anything worth talking about?
No, like I told you before we started streaming, started Squid Games season 2, episode 1. Felt kind of long, and I think it is kind of long. It's like 45, 50 minutes or so, and I'm pretty close to the end of it, but it's not really worth getting into just yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either. Like that's even where I feel like I've watched stuff, but nothing. Yeah, everything's been pretty old and nothing new. I'm trying to think. Maybe I might check out some of those new comedies. I know Dennis Leary got a new comedy.
Really?
Go Dutch or something like that on Fox. And
I did see a commercial for that, but I don't even realize.
And then there's the one with the guy from Community with the animal
control or something.
Control, yeah.
Okay.
I never watched it. I never watched the first season. So I might check it out since this is like the second season. I want to say it is.
That sounds right.
So yeah, so I might check them out to see if they're any good. I think they're on Hulu, so I can watch them up there. I know this. Like I finally saw because I follow this thing called Criminal Simpsons, and they put like Simpson stuff happen like maybe out of context or something like that. Like they put up there, but they put up like different Simpson posts, but mostly posts are from the first to maybe the 11th or 12th season, like at the most. If they go higher than 8, they but I was seeing like who they follow. I see some other Simpson stuff, and I think it's called out of context Simpsons. So I clicked on them. All their stuff is actually stuff I've never seen before in my life. Like Simpsons things. And I see people comment, but it's the out of context stuff is not funny. It's like they're just showing clips of something from that show, and I guess you don't. I guess it technically is out of context, but I don't see the joke. Because I'm thinking out of context. I think it's like something like, oh, this seems nasty, but it's probably not as nasty as you think.
Right.
But I don't. Most of the things I've seen wasn't really like that though. I think a couple of them were. And I'm thinking like, was this what it was when they first started this? When they first started on Twitter, but and then
they just ran out of content.
Yeah, but I see people on the comments like they were being pretty serious about like they're saying, "Oh, Homer, man, he's just a horrible guy," and like they weren't really doing jokes. The people were really talking about talking about the episode like how Homer is bad stuff. It's like, oh, I was like, how old are these people? These must be like really young people who really like The Simpsons. Oh, so there are people out there who actually know these episodes, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. I ain't never seen a space like this because all the Simpsons stuff I follow. All they show is from old stuff, and then even people even find it funny. Like, yeah, these is all. Like they call out. Like one time they did something like in a later season. It's like, what the hell you doing? Like doing something in season something episode. Like why you're going beyond the good seasons or something like that. Yeah, I was like, okay, so I mean, at least there's something for I guess those people, and because I never knew they existed. Yeah. So I always wanted to know like who watches Simpsons now. Like I personally don't know anybody who watch The Simpsons now. Even people who were younger than me, who will be my niece and nephew. I mean, they're in the 20s now, but still, like that means they were watching the teen Simpsons like seasons when I had stopped. Like if they were watching like how I was watching it.
Yeah. But
they didn't. They don't watch it. And I'm like, I don't know anybody who watches the show, but I mean, somebody's obviously watching it because they still have it on. But yeah, but no, I don't, yeah, I don't know any shows like, I know there's a new, show. Oh yeah, apparently, Adam Carolla, whatever his name is, how you say Carolla. He has a show that's come out, or maybe like a animated show. And I saw.
Is it the Mr. Burcham one?
Yeah. Yeah, but when did that come out?
Was it
fairly
a
recent?
year ago or 2 years ago? But I think it's like exclusive to like Ben Shapiro's like streaming service or something.
Yeah, I think it's exclusive because I was just looking on YouTube and I seen someone was they were trying to analyze why it's not funny, and I was like, oh, I didn't know he had a show.
It's it's very low hanging fruit kind of jokes.
Yeah, it's exactly, and. Which is funny because I always argued about how on the other side of it, like if you want to go politically, like liberal, conservative, I always want to know how like liberal shows were all like a lot of those shows were low hanging fruit. Like it's like, dude, it's like you're a little on the nose on this joke. It's like if I listen, I'm not a very like with art and like writing and things of that nature. It takes time for me to really get into like the message or something like in those like get really analytic look like really analyzing stuff like it's like okay so this is what it means like I have to really read it probably quite a few fucking times to really know like what's the author trying to tell me here or what this person's trying to convey here in this Like I would have to, it would take time for me because I'm not really good with that stuff. But I still like to see that. I feel like if you showing something and it's like if I can see what you're trying to say like right there from the bat, you're not doing good writing. And because you're literally like it's like yeah, it's too easy. And that's what that show was. And that show was basically the other side of that, like a real conservative stuff. Like he's all against anything woke. And it's like it's just on the nose about it. It's like that's not funny. It's like that's not really funny, and like it's not funny the other way either, though.
Yeah, it's like there's barely even a joke here.
Yeah, it's like this is just making a statement or something, and I always hated that shit. And I was like, yeah, this had nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with what you like in your politics, because like mostly a lot of stuff. Like I might agree with on both sides, really. Like some things. I was like, yeah, I hate to say it like that. But it's like when you're on the nose with stuff, it's like, I mean, it don't have to be a comedy. It could be a drama. But it's like when you're just like, when you literally say what you like, it's like, yeah, if you don't like put any effort to it, you just make it a statement and you make it, it's like, if I could see what you're trying to say, I'm like, yeah, you didn't try. Like this is like for like the bottom of the barrel kind of group where it's like you don't think you like we're literally gonna just tell you what's happening here and what this is about. Yeah, it's like good God, man. It's like did you purpose like I don't know, like I'm thinking with him, it's like I know you're smarter than this, so why is this? Why did you go with this route?
That's the direction he's been leaning for a while now, Dominic. So.
No, I mean I don't care about his politics. That's fine. But I'm just saying that
you think he's a better comedy writer than that.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah. He should be. Just because, like, yeah, like I said, just because I don't agree with you on the comedy, it's like I don't agree with a lot of the liberal people on shit. But they still can write, maybe they can write something that's still funny. I'll get it.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's the problem is either it's like he's not, or it's just kind of a grift, This is easy. Yeah. This is easy money.
I know what to say. That's what I'm saying. This might be a grift. It gotta be a grift. Cause I was like, come on, man, I think you better than this. You gotta be better than this. Or you have people around you that's better. Like you would like it's like nobody could do having writing like this. Because it's like, darn man, you're making these other shows just look fucking. I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm just looking at these other shows that's out there. It's like, man, it's like you didn't even try, with this. But anyway, I guess we can finally get to this video game. So, what you been playing?
All right, so I tried out a couple new games. Not new for the time frame, but new for me. Thank goodness you're here. I finally got around to playing that.
I thought you were saying thing because I was here, Dan. So,
yes, but also that, Dominic. I much more enjoy your company than the company of this game. For as much praise has gone around for this game, and maybe that's the problem. Like I set expectations maybe a little too high. It's not really doing much for me. Like I think I'm pretty close to the end of the game because I don't think it's a particularly long game. But it really just it's a game that relies on its humor, and I don't think the humor is necessarily all that funny. It's really just a means to set up a lot of gags, like sight gags, and occasionally they're like chuckle worthy, but it's not really like that funny. So I don't think it's really doing it because you're like not even interacting with things. It's very much almost like a walking simulator, but trying to be funny. And a lot of it feels repetitive because a lot of it is repetitive. You're going through the same like 5 areas over and over again and part of it felt like it was almost random. The triggering of the next event, because you walk through an area and it's like, oh man, nothing's here. Like, I guess I gotta go back and see if I missed something. And then you're like, oh, I circled back around to this area again. And now this guy is stuck in a thing, or this person's fell down a well or something like that. Yeah, it feels more repetitive than I wanted it to be, and I think that's a lot of the crux of why I'm not necessarily enjoying my time with it. The humor is fine, but it's not really that great. And when that's kind of all you have to rely on, if that's not hitting, then that's just not really hitting. I also played Duck Detective: The Secret Salami, which is a game where you play as a duck noir-esque detective, kind of in his own head. The world around him is pretty modern, but he's a guy. He's a duck walking around in a trench coat, kind of doing voiceover monologues in his own head and dealing with his bread addiction and stuff like that.
I have that too. Bread addiction.
It looks
put
nice.
Some rolls in front of me, man. I will eat them.
It has this like sticker book look to it, like your character is almost a relief of the background, and he doesn't have like a lot of animation. He just kind of jiggles around the environment. But this is very much a game in the vein of like a Rise of the Golden Idol or Case of the Golden Idol, where you're talking to people, you're trying to get clues from them to then solve these word puzzles about the environment and what's going on in the situation. I mean, you're being a detective essentially. And I'm honestly I like the fact that it has voiceovers. That's very nice. But I am having some trouble with it in a similar fashion to Rise of the Golden Idol, where I always want to be able to get to a point where I've talked to everyone and all of the information makes sense. I don't have to make deductions about things, which ironically enough is one of the things that he does in his notebook is he makes deductions.
Do they call it?
Yes.
Yeah,
D-U-C-K,
yes.
But I don't necessarily want to do that. And maybe that's like where my disconnect with it is, because like some people are probably like, I want this to actually be kind of a game or a puzzle that I have to solve instead of just like words I have to put together. And maybe that's my problem, is I'm just not smart enough. But like a lot of times it's like, okay, I've talked to everyone as many times as I can. I've gathered all the clues, and I don't necessarily know what the answer is, and I'm not sure how to get closer to that answer. Is it just like my brain not working the way someone should and be able to come to these conclusions through the clues that you have? I feel like I'm somewhat decent at puzzle solving. And that's kind of where my disconnect is with it. I'm still having an all right time with it. The same with like Rise and Case of the Golden Idol. I think they're fine games. I'm just struggling with them a little bit. And I think I am recognizing like at least a part of that is, me. It's not the game's failing. It's maybe just what I was hoping for out of the game. Especially because this one, like I kind of came into this one thinking it would be a little easier and a little more direct than one of those games because of the like cutesy aesthetic of it. And there are two different modes in there. There's like a try and solve it more and then like a little easier mode. And I don't think I've switched it on to the easier mode yet. Maybe that's what I'm looking for and what I need to maybe do. But it's nice. And like I said, the production value is actually pretty high for a smaller indie style game. It looks really nice and also has full voice acting, which I appreciate. So,
all right.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. I've been playing Balatro on my phone pretty much every day still, but haven't won any more games. So still just going.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I've been playing some more Metaphor. I'm close. I'm really close to the end now. Like within the last month, I think I got 20 something more days until I have to fight this like pretty much final boss. But it's a lot of extra stuff to do. I have to get done. Well, I don't want to say a lot, but There's some extra things I want to get done before I get there. So yeah, I'm close to finishing that game. Hopefully, I finish within the week or so. Well, like either before the next podcast, or at least by the next one after that one. Um, yeah, not much really much more to say on that game, but that man, I pretty much now I pretty much got to the point of some of the mysteries really being solved of like why things are happening. So I do like the answers. Like I like I don't know what I would call it twist, but I do like the revelation of why this world is what it is. Like I'm satisfied with that. Um, Also, been playing. I played very little of Suicide Squad. It's on PlayStation Plus now, and I played some like through remote play on Daniel's PlayStation, and the remote play hasn't been really working that well for me, like connection wise. So I couldn't really play a lot of it initially. Like it would just keep cutting out on me or lagging, and then it'll just cut out. I think the second playthrough was able to do more. So like it has a trial. I got through the trial part of the game where you play as all the characters and get a feel for them, and transversing the world, it still feels weird to me. It doesn't feel that easy and simple. Like it doesn't feel like I could just jump in. I have to get used to it some more. Maybe, like I'm saying, it's bad yet. Going through it because right now I'm just not used to it enough. So I don't. Yeah, maybe as I play more of it, I'll become used to it. But right now, yeah, not really feeling it. But the actual like action, like I'd rather have a button to punch than the trigger to punch people.
Yeah.
Like you hit right trigger once. That's how you do each of the characters basically melee-ish action. I would say because it's not always melee. It's their own special action button. Because boomerang, because like of course the melee. He still throws a boomerang. Well, he throws a boomerang. Like you do what the character. You do what they usually do. While if you go into hold L2 when you go into scope, like zoom in, you're shooting a gun. Like everybody has a gun to shoot around, which is that's the part of the game where it's like, man, I wish I would have thought of something else. But I mean, we all know what they were trying to do with the game, make it a Destiny-ish almost kind of thing. But yeah, so I'm only at the very beginning, like when they just got out of jail. I already watched all the cutscenes before, so I just skip them. So I'm at the Hall of Justice when they get the weapons that they need right now. That's where I stopped at. But yeah, so that's all I played of that game. I've also played some. Hold on, let me look up here. Oh yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Beyond or Beyond Infinite. I don't forget what how they call it that, but it's the one where there's been modders who have really did like a really overhaul of the game.
Yeah,
and they released a mod where it changes the look of the game and some of the gameplay and stuff. But it does look a lot better than what it originally was. Like they really emphasized the cel shadiness of the game. And yeah, it looks really good. And it runs all right on my PC. So when I put the mod and stuff in there, it was like, oh yeah, it looks good. I played a bit of it. I mean, I enjoyed it. A bit. I played like just some random arcade of the game until I got to the point where I was losing, and then I played some of the single player because I did play a little bit of single player before. I just stopped at a certain point. I was still at the very beginning though, still fighting regular Ultron bots or whatever. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the look of the game, man, it definitely looks a whole lot better than what it was. So I was like, oh, that's. I mean, it feels like like I'm playing a new game because I haven't played this game in so long, so I don't remember everything I did initially. I just remember not really liking the game. Mm-hmm. Like I remember like this, the look of the game wasn't good and things of that nature. And I forgot that this wasn't 3-on-3. This was 2-on-2 because I was like, how do you get the other character? Like, where's their character at? And I was like, oh yeah, they went back to 2-on-2, and Also, I've still got to figure out like I'm like switching like well because sometimes I don't want to switch. I just want to use their like assists, and I got to look up how to do because I was looking up, but it looked like I know there's got to be a button. It's either got to be a button or maybe they don't do it anymore. I have no idea what it is, but that's the only problem I have because like I can do like they'll assist, but they'll also switch at the same time,
Right.
and I can get it for them just to assist me. But yeah, I mean it's been all right. I think I played with who did I start with the arcade because I did record some. I want to say it was Dante and Ghost Rider. I did Dante and Ghost Rider as the guys who I played with. That's what I want to say. That's how I can remember. Now, of course, in the story mode, I played with whoever they gave me. So yeah, that actually turned out to be pretty cool. I also played Disco Elysium. I played that actually on the PlayStation streaming with the PS4 version of it, which is you can stream on the PC. Like at PlayStation, I really wish they would change. They got to change their stuff. They got to make it so that you can play PS5 games away from the PS5 because you can stream PS5 games if you're on the PS5, which is like, I mean, okay, I guess that's all right if you don't have enough space or you don't want to download it on your PS5, but the whole thing is that, well, first of all, PS Plus should be able to be on the phone, just like how Xbox is. And just like how I think I want to say Nvidia is Nvidia GeForce Now. Can you just stream on your phone too? If you got a controller?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you do that. Like I don't know why PlayStation Plus don't have that. They have remote. You can do remote play on your phone, but you can't do streaming, and you can't do like, oh, I'm going to do remote play and stream like you from the PS5. No, it won't allow you because they will say you can't do streaming on remote play, which is I'm like. Why not? I mean, even though it'd probably be slow as fucking shit anyway, but still, why don't you have an option?
Just don't.
Why don't you have an option though? Like
they don't want you to have a bad experience and then shit.
Oh no, not for that. I'm just saying why you don't have an option for PlayStation Plus just to be on your phone.
Yeah, to resolve that. I get you.
I think that is just horrible. But anyway, so I was playing Disco Elysium because I was like, okay, let me just. Because this game, it's been popular. I kept saying I want to play it, but I just haven't played it. So I was at a point where I couldn't play Metaphor because I was out. So I didn't have my PC with me available. So I was playing that. And then I got to really see what the game is. Because I played very little. Like so little that I was just at the beginning and all I did was pick a couple things. I would say, like, I'll come back to this, and I just never did. So I see what the game is. Like, it's an RPG, but it really deals with more of the point and click aspect of it, of like a Western RPG, of where like your choices of words is what happens. It's not really an action game. Like the action happens of what you choose, almost like choose your own adventure kind of thing. And you and it's like so many different choices because it all depends how you start out with as your character based on who he is. I picked a more intellectual character, so things of like doing physical stuff it's mostly it's a roll of a dice. Like you say, hey, like you gonna attack this. Like I was gonna punch this kid or something because I was pissed off with him, and I try to punch him, and they roll the dice, and the chance of me punching him were low and then when I try to punch him, I fucking fall flat on my face, and but I also play this game on PC where I put cheats in and say, hey, the roll dice will always come up positive for me. So, because I want to see what it looked like if I punched that kid. And it changes the whole story too. Like I can actually get questions and answers from kid if I do it because he respects me more from that. And so I was like, oh wow, how much the game changes just because of that role. And because a lot of things I failed. On my initial playthrough, like playing normally, and then when I played on PC and put the cheats on where my rolls were good, I was saying like, wow, this changes everything. Because like my game actually ended early on the PS4 because you start off like you're a drunk and you don't remember. So you play as like who you really are in real life. Like you don't know this guy, and so you wake up like you have amnesia. Like, you don't know who you are, what you do. Apparently, you got so drunk last night. You're a police officer, and I guess you got so drunk last night, you don't have your gun or badge. You don't know where they are. But thing is, like, I admitted it. Like, I missed it, and I called my precinct, and they were just making fun of me and stuff about me, like, losing my
Not
badge.
again.
Well, no, like losing my badge at first. They were just making fun of me. But they said, "Hey, ask if he lose his gun." And then I had a thing that said, like, "Man, I didn't lose my gun." They said, "Oh my God, you lost your gun." Like the narrator said, "Oh my God, you lost your gun." And then I lied and said I didn't lose my gun. They said, "Yeah, well, what does it look like?" It's like, and then it was hilarious. Like, I had to stop because I was like, "Oh man, I don't want to do this over again," because I don't want to admit that to preach I lost my gun. And still, I don't know my name because I was hoping they say my name, but they were calling me a name like that's something to make fun of me by. So it's like, oh, that's not my name. Then another point, I think I got to where like I was getting to the dead body, and I couldn't take the smell. I basically said I don't want to do this anymore. I just said this. I didn't think it was going to like actually stop. I was thinking it's like it was just going to be like this go, another option. Yeah. But it said like, okay, I'll call the precinct, and it ended. It was like, oh, you left the case. It said like I left, and it told you your future. Like you ended up being homeless and then living under a bridge where you throw feces at passerbys. I was like, what the fuck? And then shit like that. And then people who remember you will say like, oh yeah, he used to be a cop, and but then he quit. He was a drunk and he quit, and now he lives under a bridge. He lives under a bridge or something like that. Yeah, I was like, oh wow. I said that's crazy. So that ended that playthrough. But yeah, it's a lot of. Yeah, it's pretty cool how many options is in this game. Yeah, I'm playing through it now on PC, basically, doing it. But like, yeah, because but I do want to like I'm about to turn it off where everything goes well. I mean, like everything goes right because I want to see what happens if it goes wrong because it changes the story. It doesn't mean you lose because that's just part of the game. But yeah, it really changes the story, like around like being successful or unsuccessful and some of these dice rolls of your choices. And yeah, and I think I'm trying to go through without letting my partner know that I lost. I don't remember anything because like because I don't remember my name, but what I said is like, hey, you can just call me officer. I was like, you just like I said with confidence, so like he just said, okay, fine. He doesn't want to tell me his name. Fuck it. But yeah, but also I have not let him know that I don't have my gun because he did ask. He asked one time I was shooting down the body to get the body down, and I think it's multiple ways you can get the body down. And I said, because I told him to shoot, he missed, but I said I can get a good shot, and I got the shot off because I also cheated and said I'll be successful. But before he did, he said like because the kids were still around too, said like, hey, these coppers suck, like these coppers suck, and I think they're calling you a faggot, but they don't say the word. They just say F and T at the end. Mm-hmm. They said, hey, these guys are like, these cops suck. They only have one gun between them. What kind of cops are these? And the guy said, like, why don't you have your gun? And I forgot the choice I picked. It came off like he didn't bother. He just accepted it. I just said, like, give me your gun. I said, just give me your gun or something. And I got the shot off. And I got the shot and I made it to shoot the body down. But yeah, I'm trying to get through I was hoping I could find my gun and badge without telling him that I lost it. Because I looked all through my room, I could not find it in there. So I'm like, where the fuck did this guy go at? Like, to lose his gun and badge. Just like, he's got to be like maybe he messed with some woman or something and he left it there. It's like, I'm hoping like I find some place I've been where I can find it easily without having to report it. I'm seeing I can get away with it without him knowing or I have to report it. But yeah, this game is pretty cool. I mean, it came out, 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago this game came out?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I was in some people's game of the year and stuff like that. And yeah, I think I put it, I think I had this on my list.
That sounds
as
right,
a potential. Yeah, like because the games I haven't played, but I thought might be on the list. Yeah, and I can definitely see it be high on my list. Oh yeah, also because I forgot to mention like the last podcast because I've been playing some more. And actually maybe it wasn't last part. Maybe it was this podcast. I played some more Ratchet and Clank. The newest one, Rift Apart, and yeah, I take back because remember I said like yeah this game would be my top. Nah, I take that back, yo. I think I would have had this game not in my top 10.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, the gameplay wise is fine. Like it's fine, but it's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing like it's nothing like because I played other Ratchet games.
It's because they make you play as Lady Ratchet, isn't it?
Yeah, no. It's nothing really different as far as that, and which is not a bad thing, but it's not something to maybe go top 10. And the reason,
right.
But the real reason is not because of the gameplay. It's because the story. This is a story like someone conveyed it better than I did. Like saying like it's written for kids, but the kids is written for won't be playing this game. Like it's written for little kids. It's written for kids like your daughter or something like that. But she wouldn't play this game. Like and this is a direction they probably went through some years ago, which maybe I missed it because I still have more memory of the PlayStation 2 games than the newer Ratchet games.
This is post movie, that's why.
And
even though that wasn't successful.
And it's like, well, some people do use this as an excuse to really to play. I don't know, to make it like say they grown out of what Ratchet was, and then like he was like had attitude stuff. They say they're grown out of it, but say yeah, they're grown out of it, but they made something very childish, like childish, not in a way of childish like attitude wise, like. Like that way, like, oh, they do fart jokes or some shit like that. No. They went a route of like this show would be on PBS. Like that's the route they
this is
went
Daniel
with this
Tiger
writing.
Plays Ratchet and Clank.
Like Ratchet is such a like they're such like the way they talk to each other, like you're talking with this well now you got this robot almost like I guess a woman version of Clank now. I mean, and the way you talk to us like it's just so very. I mean, kind of like a Spider-Man was. It's like, yo, it's so goody two shoes. It's like I'm fucking with a vomit of how the goodness, like these, the dialogue goes. Like I wish I can't remember an example. I wish I could just look up like some dialogue just to see because it's just like what the hell. Like, why did they go this route with this type of game? Like, I mean, for the people who actually get it, like, if you want to make a kids game, make a kids game. But this ain't a kids game.
Yeah,
this ain't a direct. This is like, I mean, actually, this might be rated E for everyone. The other games I think, some of them were T. But maybe this is a rated E game. I don't know, but why would you change it to that? Like, what is the? Because I feel like sales of games. I'm sorry, the rating system is not like movies. Because the best selling games are rated M. like the best selling games, a lot of the best selling games, not counting Nintendo games that are not Nintendo games, are rated M. So that's you could throw that out the fucking door. But I don't know. Like, it seems so childish. Like I'm like to the point where I just like. I mean, and like I said, gameplay wise, this is not a whole lot different. Like I feel like I've done everything. Like I don't feel like there's no big the gameplay really changes now. Like I can stop now and I feel satisfied with this game. Like the story is not keeping me going. Like I kind of want them it's not keeping me going enough for this. Like these characters, like it's not there, and it's a damn shame to me because it's like this game. I mean, it's the direction they choose to go. That's fine, but it's just that. I don't know. That's not. This ain't the Ratchet I grew up with. No, that's not. Like gameplay wise, it's fine, but it's not. It hasn't evolved enough. Like the gameplay, like I will get through this game if the gameplay has evolved to something that I want to keep playing. But it hasn't. It becomes like it's getting a little stale now. And yeah, I need it. Yeah, and since the story is not there for me. with this. Like the jokes aren't even funny. Like they're not. There's no funny. They're not funny though. It's like, okay, fine. You can keep this cheesy ass freaking goody two shoe shit, but you gotta make something funny though, man. And this is not funny. So yeah, yeah, I take back. Like, yeah, starting out, it seemed like something was there, but as I keep playing through it, I see why it wasn't high on people. Honestly, now, like I see it very high. It wasn't high, and we gotta go. We gotta do that list over again. Because that game should not even be near the top 5. I feel like you could be your top 10, but it has to be excommunicated. Like it can't be a knowledge as a podcast because it's a fucking joke. It's like I was joking. It's like it's not a bad game. It's just a fine game, and to me, it's like it's just a fine game. It's a game that it hasn't evolved much. That's the thing. So I see why I see people complain, and now I totally understand it. Like people who had problem with it, or they just felt like it was good, but it wasn't nothing special. It was like it's forgettable. Like it's really forgettable, and that's a shame because I feel like they could have done a lot more with the riff apart stuff, like the whole dementia stuff. That is not a big thing of the game.
Yeah,
that's not a game mechanic really. Really, like only in certain parts I see like, oh, I can grapple over there and get there fast. But that's not something that I felt like it'd be something that happens more, like a portal gun or something. Like exactly. I thought it was something, yeah, but it doesn't.
Yeah, they tried to sell that on, everybody trying to say that this is the only way that, PS5 is the only thing that could play this game like this. And then cut to obviously coming out on PC, and then it just not even being that big a mechanic in there is, kind of sold us a bunk bill of goods.
Yeah. I mean, it's like as a launch game, I think that's pretty good. Like for launch consoles and stuff like that. So yeah, it's fine there, and hold out till something great comes along. But I also will say that I feel like Ratchet shouldn't be that. Ratchet should be bigger than that, and it should be better than this. Like writing, I know writing's subjective. So like I said, the writing can still be there, but if the gameplay was actually something really great and keep it going, then that's fine. Like I can live with that because it's like, okay, but the gameplay's fun, and I mean it's fun, but it gets stale. Like because this game ain't short, so it's not like a super short game. I mean, unless you just go through without collecting, I guess maybe even then I wonder how long that game is. Well, put like this is going on. I haven't done everything, so it's definitely feeling too long for me. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah. So that's it. So I guess we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we get to the flashback segment.
All right.
And we're back. So now we're flashback into 2015. So now we're in a new year, people. So we got some New Year's coming up for 2015, 2005, and 1995. I don't know if any magazines came out in 1985. They probably were, but probably not really worth looking at. Also we're doing magazine covers. And not like this. Probably some games came out, but I'll do that next week because this is gonna be a long podcast. It's gonna be long enough. So we're just gonna start with Edge magazine in 2015, and we got Batman Arkham Knight on the front, the actual Arkham Knight. Which is their version of Red Hood. Spoiler. Yeah. I mean, this is what. See, it's like I thought this when I first heard it, but I thought like, okay, since I thought that's not it. Arkham Knight's gonna be something else. Then it's not gonna be just a Red Hood, and it was. And I was a little disappointed. I mean, it's still good. It's just that the mystery's kind of like not a mystery, but for anybody who doesn't know who the Red Hood is and like they don't know who this could possibly be. Good for them. I mean, it probably was a shocker or something like that. Or you're probably very confused because he's like, I didn't know a Robin died. But it was like so it's like what the hell's going on? But yeah, I thought this was but overall the game was good. Like the Arkham Knight was a really good game. Still not better than the City. Just a lot of the driving stuff. I didn't like the some of the the driving in the game wasn't really bad, but it wasn't needed. And I mean, they could have done something. I mean, come on. I mean, Batmobile is part of Batman, but I wish you could have done something else with that. And I didn't like the whole Riddler Batman racing challenges. I fucking hated that shit, but luckily it wasn't too difficult and I beat it. But overall, the game, like, graphically, it looked good. Combat was still good. Like, I think overall, like, it was still a good game. It was still a good game. I didn't really get into it until late though, because at the time my PC could not play that game. And it wasn't because it was too powerful. It really was optimization. Because I was like, I played games. Yeah. I played games that look just as good or better on my PC since then. And I was like, they run well. Why can't this game run that well? Yeah, the optimization was pretty bad on PC. And it was like bad overall because even people with nice video cards said they had trouble with it. But on console, it was fine. From what I can remember, it was fine. But yeah, so, I mean, some people did like this. They still like this as one of their best favorite, Batman games. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a bad game. This is basically Rocksteady's last, good game we played. This was their last good game. Unfortunately, Suicide Squad was not it. And this was last good game, last single player game. Rocksteady, that's still a thing though, right? Is that still a company?
Yeah, except this week I didn't put it in the news, but they did get some layoffs. So.
Oh, not good.
Yeah,
not good, and it sucks because I want to know, like, was it ever told that the choice of Suicide Squad was that from the top, or was that them?
I don't. I know there was a story, and it was like. It sounded like, if I'm remembering correctly, that is what Warner Brothers wanted to do, and then the guys were like, we can pull this off, I guess, and then basically ended up leaving because they were like, this isn't getting pulled off.
Yeah.
And now they're with Microsoft.
Yeah, crazy. All right, so what's on this cover? We got hands-on with Halo 5 Guardians on here on the front. So that's cool. They got that, yeah.
The forgotten Halo.
Yeah. But it was, at the time, it was like a big deal. This is going to be the first new Halo for the new console, for the new generation. Also, we got the Edge Awards, of course. The winners of the Game of the Years. I didn't see this. The best video game books to buy today. Okay. Oh, I thought they were about to say they're the best video game book. But anyway. But yeah, video game books. Not today. What else I got here? Exclusive, the superhero game for the new generation. Talking about Battle Arkham Knight. They also reviewed Far Cry 4, Dragon Age Inquisition, Super Smash Brothers, and Assassin's Creed Unity. Super Smash Brothers, that was the Wii U one, right? Yeah, so I'm guessing. Or the DS one. The DS one, they both came at the same time, right? Or did one come like a month after? Okay. All right. What else we got here? We got the Xbox magazine, which does have Halo 5 on the front. Multiplayer Halo as you've never seen it before. Yes, because it actually has you zooming. You never could use it. You would never zoom with unless it was like a scope. You would never have like actual aim button in Halo. You would just have to shoot from the hip. And this is the first time that they actually had that in multiplayer. Also, what else I got here? Also inside, you got Sunset Overdrive reviewed. Killer Instinct Season 2. I forget that Sunset Overdrive wasn't a launch game. It was a launch window game. Yeah. Actually, it wasn't even launch window.
I was going to say, it was launch window.
Well, actually, what is launch window then? Really?
Depends on who you ask.
March?
March I was going to say, there was a time where they were extending launch window for like almost 12 months.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So maybe that might be falling to it. But so you got that. You got Killer Instinct Season 2. Oh yeah, the Season 2 of the Killer Instinct game. Yeah. The worst Forza paint jobs, celebrate Xbox One's first birthday, Ori and the Blind Forest,
Yeah.
and Assassin's Creed reviewed. That was the bad one, right? Well, the one that was broken.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the French one we just talked about last time.
Yeah, The Witcher 3, new details of the 2015's biggest game. Yep. And Battlefield Hardline, hands-on EA's epic war on crime. Yep. Yeah, Battlefield's going to the police.
Yep.
And Dragon Inquisition is BioWare's latest and Elder Scrolls beater? No, it's not. You got Quantum Break up here. You got Remedy's stunning shooter. Time's on your side, and when Remedy's stunning shooter. Final Fantasy 15. It's Final Fantasy meets Grand Theft Auto. Found out inside. Okay. Roto Tanks. How Wargaming brought the battle to Xbox. That's a game I play. I actually tried it, because I think it was on Xbox, and I think I rode around the tank. I think I shot something. This probably was a trial version of the game. I mean, like the tutorial.
Then your treads fell off.
Yeah, I made a tutorial of the game. I don't think I played it against anybody, and I think I blew up a tank, and that was it. And I realized, oh yeah, this is not for me. All right.
This is all for old people who have trains in their basements.
All right, so what else we got here? We got Game Informer, and we got No Man's Sky on the front. I forget, you know what? I've never seen this type of spaceship or whatever when I play No Man's Sky. I don't know where that is in the game, or what it is. Oh, this is Destiny. Is this Destiny?
I thought it was No Man's Sky.
It is No Man's Sky. Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, I was about to say, because I was like, okay.
Is that the center of the universe? Is this a spoiler? Is that what you were trying to get to?
Is that what it is? Is that
I don't know.
thing at the center of the universe? Because I never knew what that thing was.
But you're right, it does.
Oh no, because I see someone said Destiny down here.
Yeah.
It says no. Oh yeah, featuring No Man's Sky, Destiny, The Dark Below, which is I guess
I think that's just an F-Zero ship there. I guess the Destiny, The Dark
That does look like an F-Zero ship, don't it? Yeah, down in that corner.
It's the Samurai Guy ship.
The future of science fiction games and the top 25 sci-fi games of all time.
Their list was probably bad.
Yeah, No Man's Sky, man. We're still a year away. You said when did it come out? 2016?
I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so we're still like a year or so out from the game. Still coming out. But still like one of the most anticipated games at the time. All right, so now that was it for 2015. So now we're going back to 2005, 20 years ago. We got Nintendo Power and we got the Nintendo DS on the front. You got 16 pages of DS Touch and Tell. They got Madden, Mario, Metroid, Spider-Man, and more.
My favorite way to play Madden, Dominic.
Yeah, the DS. Yeah, it's just so interesting. Just the concept and how it really took off with that. Like, so weird. Like, having this 2-screen thing, machine, and it being what it is. I mean, it was great. I mean, with the games that actually used the second screen in a interesting way, man.
Yeah.
Were actually really good, and not just as a map.
It definitely feels like one of the last times we were like truly shocked by what one of these console makers was doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, what's the last system that even comes close to like something really different than this? I mean, after this technically was the Wii. Wii, but yeah, you said the Kinect.
The Kinect.
It's you can't. I mean, you can say, and like the Wii U was like we're going to combine the DS and the Wii together. And it's called the Wii U, where it confuses people. They don't know that it's just a new system. They think it's like, oh, it's just upgraded, like something, and whatever. But yeah, that was it. Like, it was this one as far as handheld, and then the Wii. And after that, I mean, everything's been pretty, I don't know, normal I mean, I guess you could say the Switch being what it is, but all in all, it's like being compared to what they've done. It's not like super like inventive. I mean, I like it. I like that. Handheld and home console. Yeah. All right, so that's it for that one. Then we got one more here to show off for 2005. We got the Xbox with Knights of the Old Republic on the front, the Sith Lords, and I don't remember this guy's name. I don't. And you know what? And even if I played the game, I probably wouldn't have remembered it because I honestly don't remember none of those people's names. I don't know none of nobody's name in this game.
No.
I played this like maybe twice.
Darth Revan.
I played Revan is he's the guy in the first one, and that's the main character. That's the guy you play as. So yeah, and that's the thing. I played the first one more than this one. I bought these games at the same time because I got it all at the same time. I got the Xbox, but this one, it just didn't grab me as much as the original one. I mean, the concept was pretty cool, but also near the end, that's like it was an unfinished game. I mean, that's what seems like always happens with those Obsidian done games at the time. They didn't have enough time, and it's not that it's a bad game. I'm like, I have to play this again. It's just something about the Revan one that whole story was just felt better than this one.
This is Darth Nihilus.
Oh, Darth Nihilus. Okay. There's like 3 Darths in here. I know that. There was him, and then there was the guy who had the broken skin, and there was that old lady.
Oh, the broken skin guy isn't the same? Thought he was under this mask or whatever.
He was under it? I thought I saw him, all 3 of them together.
It's quite possible. I never played the game. I just made assumptions. Yeah, it looks like he's a different guy. Nihilus, Scion, and Visas.
Yeah, so I guess they were the Sith Lords, I want to say.
That's too many. Didn't we already learn that there's only 2?
Yeah, threw that shit out the door. Oh no, the Old Republic. No, it's not.
Oh yeah,
that's before.
Right.
Before they changed the rules. They realized, it's too many of us. We only could be 2, which I think it was just something that George just thought about while he was on the toilet. He just made up the rule. Yeah, basically.
He's like, I just did a Darth number 1 and a Darth number 2. I can't do a Darth number 3, so there can only be 2.
All right. So that's. Oh wait a minute. Oh yeah, I didn't really say it was on the cover. This is a world exclusive review of the game. Oh okay. Oh, the game already. Yeah, it came out. Yeah. Also, you got here the game. The executive producer of Halo is making now. Stubbs the Zombie.
I was excited about that game.
And preview blowout. We got Mercenaries. Oh, the first Mercenaries. Republic Commando. Dead to Rights 2. And more. And you get a free poster inside too.
Darth Nihilus did look cool, I gotta say. He was my phone screen background for quite a while, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, darn. Nerd.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So the 1995. So now we go back 30 years ago to 1995 to Game Pro. And we got Earthworm Jim on the front. Earthworm Jim, like, he was a huge character, man, in the 90s, like, of the gaming world, that it kind of just fell off. But he was seen a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
he was like a mascot for, even though it wasn't like a platform mascot.
Yeah. Hold on. What company made the game? Made this game? What was he under?
It's not Acclaim, was it?
Because I'm like, yeah, like I would, like, I'm surprised now I'm thinking back. It's like, I'm surprised there wasn't like a PlayStation or PlayStation
Shiny
game. Oh,
Shiny Entertainment.
Yeah. Wow, that was basically their game. Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, they didn't do an Earthworm 3D game. Maybe it was the one in the making and it got canceled. Or something. I don't know.
The latest release was Earthworm Jim HD on June 9th of 2010.
That
We
doesn't
haven't
count.
seen him in 15 years, Dominic.
But what Earthworm Jim HD? What was that?
That was the Xbox one. Just the original game on the Xbox, I think.
But I'm just saying, like a 3D game, like how they were doing 3D characters.
Yeah,
like,
they did
haven't seen an
Earthworm Jim
game.
3D, but I don't think it was very good. It wasn't successful at all.
I gotta see what that looks like.
Yeah, that's an N64 game. So bad. Oh, you can play Earthworm Jim 3D on Steam, Dominic. It's only $20 for the entire Earthworm Jim collection.
Okay, yeah. Wow, I totally forgot about this game.
Earthworm Jim feels like one of those characters that was just a little too gross to get out of the 90s.
He had a cartoon that came out after the game. I just remember the theme song. Like Earthworm Jim, the soil he came from. Earthworm Jim. And then that's all I can remember. All right. So yes, Earthworm Jim's on the front here. You got Earthworm Jim's Underground Secrets for the Super Nintendo and Genesis. Pro reviews.
I get it.
And, NBA Jam for the Sega CD. You got NFL 95. You got Doom on the Jaguar. And then you got Virtual Racing Deluxe for the 32X. I had that game. You had Mega Man X2. You also got Star Wars Arcade for the 32X. I didn't have that one. I had the X-Wing game, though. Aerial the Acrobat 2. And Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel. I feel like we talked about that game.
Yeah, we did, because we learned that Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel was like an offshoot of Aero the Acrobat.
Oh, yeah. And we also got previews of Myst, Demolition Man, and FIFA Soccer for the 3DO. And I'm thinking this wasn't EA. Was FIFA EA game then? Or this was some other brand?
That's a good
like,
question.
when did EA get FIFA? Oh, there's a brand. Also got Hard Arcade games for 95, Killer Instinct, Samurai Showdown 2, and more. Also, the Mortal Kombat movie came out, Daniel.
Oh, it was an EA game, Dominic.
It
Also,
was EA
sponsorship from Adidas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Mortal Kombat movie and Final Fantasy 3 Winning Strategies. I didn't really know much about Final Fantasy back then.
Nah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. What else we got here? We also got Nintendo Power for 1995. We got Batman and Catwoman in front from the Batman Animated Adventures, The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Chaos Hits Gotham. Also, first look at Shoshinkai Report, Virtual Boy, and more from Japan's Big Show.
Oh, that must be like their E3 or pre-Tokyo Game Show or CES or something.
In depth of the Lion King, Star Trek, Starfleet Academy, and Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure. Oh yeah, I remember. Like, this is supposed to be. Was this not the comeback of Pitfall? Like, they had that. It was the
one
black
of many,
cover.
I think. Yeah.
It was like the black cover with just the Pitfall guy in the middle. Also, don't miss NBA Jam on Game Boy. Also, look inside for the hottest tip of all. What is it? I don't want to look inside. All right. Also, Players Poll exclusive price prop Stargate Glider. Stargate Glider. Stargate was that movie must have just came out. Is this about the movie, right? The only Stargate I know about.
It would have to be, right?
Yeah, and the TV show, because I remember this TV show, it did come out in the 90s, but it was, I forget how long after the movie it came out. What else we have here? We got EGM. We got Killer Instinct on the front. How you like these drawings, Daniel?
They are spectacular.
Okay. All right.
I say that. I say
They're not the
that.
same. They're not the
But
same as the other, like the Mortal Kombat ones we've seen on this
Yeah.
cover.
and at the time, I probably would have been like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen," because they're very like, I want to say like McFarlane-esque,
Yeah.
you know. So I probably at the time would have thought this was a very cool full gore.
This look like this could be one of those comics in a comic book.
Yeah.
Like it looked like a drawing could be one of those comic books. Like, oh yeah, it looks nice. But like compared to like the actual things, like this, you could have just used like the game characters. But anyway, they probably have to want their artists do it. So
Yeah, because this stuff always looks the same. So they've got to have somebody in house that's doing all these drawings for.
All right, so Nintendo's Ultra Hot Fighter for the Ultra 64, Daniel. The Killer Instinct, all the fighters, all the secrets inside the magazine. Also, Samurai Showdown 2, Cosmic Carnage 32X, Zool 2, Jag. I didn't know there was a Zool 2. Kirby 2, Home Improvement, the game. Okay. So what you do? You just build houses or something? And
I think it was just like a generic licensed platformer where like tools would attack you and stuff. I've seen it before.
Well, yeah, you saw it in the intro of the damn TV show.
Well, I've actually seen footage of it too. But yeah, it was just effectively that. Yeah, now that you remind me of that.
It wasn't a real game, Daniel. But anyway,
Are you going to tell me Nick Arcade wasn't a real game now too, Dominic? You can tell me those kids weren't fighting the wizard or whatever?
Shockwave 2, Mega Man 7. What was Shockwave?
I don't know.
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbos, Power Rangers CD. I didn't know there was a Power Rangers CD, honestly. Time Cop and Pitfall CD. And also Nintendo's Virtual Boy. Look at that Virtual Boy.
I think I'm watching Pitfall CD right now, actually. I think I did play this Pitfall game.
Exclusive pics and details inside. I just remember, just seeing red digital shit and not knowing what the fuck to do. All right, what's this? First pictures of Nintendo's new 16-bit Super Nintendo Virtual Fighter clone. I'm sorry. Oh, I guess they're talking about Killer Instinct. Because I don't know any other fighting game. Man, I'm guessing talking about this. Yeah. Donkey Kong and Earthworm Jim Strategy.
They were talking about ARMS even all the way back then.
All right. What else we have here? We got Game Informer. And we got Rystar on the front. Oh, you see what? Okay, so Sega's newest superstar, also Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure. Yeah, it seemed like that's the really big deal. Yeah, I guess this is like the Return of Pitfall thing.
Yeah.
They paid all the magazines to cover their game. But anyways, can Activision recapture the magic? I don't know how this got reviewed, honestly.
I have no idea. I must have rented it from like Blockbuster though, because I definitely feel like I remember playing this game, and it looks nice.
Nah, I don't know what the back of the box showed on Pitfall, but I think that the front of the box was enough. Like it didn't give enough information, man. So I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm not going to try it. Plus they have Mega Man X2, Final Fantasy Star 4, and Bassin's Black Bass. Okay. You also got G.I. discovers the secrets of Donkey Kong Island. And join Beast and his fellow mutants in Capcom's X-Men. Which game is that one in 95? Is that a Super Nintendo game or something? Or
1995.
The arcade game?
X-Men
I don't know. So that's it. So Rystar, was that I know we talked about the game. I just don't remember.
Yeah, this was like one of the first games I bought on the Virtual Console, and I don't know why necessarily, outside of the fact that I was like, hey, this looks like kind of a cool platformer, and I think I've seen people talk pretty positively about it. This is the mascot that should have been for Sega, Dominic.
No.
Sonic's lame. Should have got
Rystar. He's so lame that he has a movie that has two sequels after it. So
he's so lame that his movie is better than any of the video games he's released in the last 30 years.
Oh, whatever. No,
Sonic Mania.
Sonic Mania and Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom, got it.
It's like the Sonic Boom
Rise
show is
of
good.
Lyric.
The Sonic Boom show is funny. I don't know about the game.
Not funny. Not funny at all.
All right, so that's it for the flashback segment. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to the gaming news, which is not much.
All right.
And we're back. So let's get to the gaming news. What we got, Dan?
All right, Dominic, the only thing I really have here is Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed from February to March 20th. Giving it a little more time in the oven, it sounds like, which, it had already been delayed out of last year. Things aren't looking so good for Ubisoft. I still have high hopes for this game because it's, like I've said in the past, the most promising Assassin's Creed I've seen in a while. It's probably for the best. There's quite a bit of things coming out.
Just because of the black guy in there.
The wokeness, yeah.
That's why. And the woman ninja. Yeah. Is that why?
That's why. I love it.
You lived hard.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think it's like Yakuza, or Like a Dragon is coming out in February, and there are a couple other games coming out in February. So it's, if it needs some more time and can distance itself from those games, it's probably for the best.
Whatever, man. This needs more time for Tencent to get their shit together before they can buy it.
Needs some time to be ported. Maybe it's going to be a launch title for the Switch too, Dominic. You don't know. March 20th,
maybe,
we just found out. I forget what the latest leak for the Switch 2.
They need some more time before they can make the black guy white a Japanese fan, so they can make people happy.
I did see somebody
or a Japanese or the woman to be a Japanese man, one or the other, or make them both.
Or both, yes. No, you got to do both.
Or make a white man. Make it a white man. No, yes. For one of them.
A white man and a Japanese man. We got it. Yeah, because one of the latest rumors was that the Switch 2 is going to come out like March, be announced like very soon, and then release in March. We'll see if that actually turns out to be true. This thing is like all over the internet at this point, Dominic. We've seen like every inch of this hardware. We've seen the motherboard. We've seen the outside case. We've seen the accessories that people are building for this thing. Like, potentially it has an optical sensor on it, so you could use this thing like a mouse. We'll see if that ends up actually being true. But yeah, I'm ready to see software, Dominic, for the Switch 2.
Well, if people will say you already seen it, Daniel. It's just gonna look the same as the other one. It's gonna run better.
Let me ask you this: if a large portion of, outside of obviously the Nintendo stuff, if a large portion of the hardware library for this, or the software library for this, sorry, is like former big names from other consoles, let's say, Red Dead Redemption 2. I've even seen some people bandy about the Halo collection. Do you think people buy those games?
Well, I think somebody buys them. Because it's going to be... Because if the Switch 2 have sales that's kind of similar to the Switch 1, somebody buys it. But I don't know. I don't know. Are they going to be big sellers? Like, I don't know, honestly.
Because, like, you look at, like, the precedent, right? You see Batman, the Armored Edition or whatever like that. And it's like, yeah, and then these companies always try and get kind of, like, the launch sales. Because it's like, Well, they don't. Ubisoft is famous for this, right? It's like, oh, they don't have any other games at launch, so they'll buy our game as long as we put something out there. But for a game like, let's say, a Red Dead Redemption 2, it feels like, that might be a lot of work to get that up and running for what could end up being some relatively meager sales. But I mean, I would not be surprised at all if Microsoft puts, a lot of effort into making games available on the system, whether it be, natively or somehow trying to convince Nintendo a partnership to allow them to do Game Pass streaming on there would be advantageous to them. I don't know. I hope that ends up being true. I hope they try, and I hope Nintendo is receptive to it. But we shall see, I guess. All right, Dominic. Yeah, so that was kind of it in the way of news that I saw this week. Obviously, we're still kind of ramping our way up. Tangentially related to video games, I guess it is related to video games. Lego has announced teased, I think, that they're doing a Game Boy Lego set. They haven't actually shown it off yet, so that's coming later this year. And also Bluey sets while we're talking about Legos.
Okay, don't. If you want to start a Lego podcast, go ahead. But no, don't go. Listen, keep it to video games and or Legos.
No, I'm turning it into a Bluey podcast, Dominic. Let me tell you.
Turn into a fucking GameSpot fucking website. Cause that's all I fucking
We've got to spread out, Dominic. We got to diversify. Video games aren't hitting anymore. We got to talk about sales. Let me tell you about how much this Tears of the Kingdom is right now. You can get it on sale for $5 off. Anyway. All right, Dominic. So, yeah, that was it. As we do kind of every year, we were going to do our year in review for 2024, go through some of the biggest news stories of each month. So we'll kick that off. January, I didn't really have anything. We did have like the Xbox Developer Direct there. They showed off like Indiana Jones and Avowed and whatnot. But
I'm sorry. So you got to do like a big announcement, year in review or something like that.
All right, year in review. Woo, 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 woo. Is that better?
Yeah.
All right. So January, not really much going on. Just Developer Direct for Xbox. They showed off Indiana Jones, stuff like that. I think we had previously already had Indiana Jones announced, though, based on what I could find, because I thought maybe that would fit my January, but it did not. February, we saw Disney collabing with Fortnite. That was the announcement of their next big thing, which we still haven't actually seen any results of. But I'm sure eventually we will see an entire Disney Dreamlight Valley, but where you can shoot each other or build things, I guess. Next, we also had a Sony State of Play where Kojima revealed his new espionage action game. He's getting back into the Metal Gear genre, I guess you would say.
I totally forgot about this.
Yeah, me too. There were a couple of things where I was like, oh yeah, they're doing something, aren't they? Scient. We'll see what he's doing with Xbox first before we get to this.
Yeah, if anything at all.
Yeah. Speaking of Xbox, this is the first time we kind of got the hint that the Xbox was done for, Dominic. This is when they had that Future of Xbox event and announced that Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves and Grounded were all coming to other consoles. This is where they announced they were going third party and not making consoles anymore.
Yeah, well, they didn't say that.
They might as well have, Dominic. They stabbed me in the heart. After that, Toys for Bob, they separated themselves from Microsoft after the Activision Blizzard purchase. And then later on in March, they then got funded by Microsoft. So no bad blood, seemingly. And hopefully they're working on, seemingly they're working on a new Spyro, but hopefully they are working on a Banjo-Kazooie at some point. Actually, no, is it Spyro that they were teasing? I think it was Spyro. because obviously they also make Crash Bandicoot games. Saber Interactive was able to free itself from the Embracer Group in February as well. And on Pokemon Day, we got Pokemon Pizza announced. Pokemon Za, which we haven't really seen anymore.
I'm really thinking about Pokemon, a real Pokemon Pizza. It's like, I would love that.
Let me call up Domino's, see if they can make that happen. It'll just be a regular shaped pizza.
Some real Pokemon meat on there, like some Pikachu sausage or something.
They dyed the sausage yellow. It's like, you understand the sausage would still be red, right? No, it's yellow. Moving into March, we had Warner Brothers Discovery shutting down Rooster Teeth and Adult Swim games. Now, this I felt was like big enough to mention. I did mean to mention at the top. I did not put all the layoffs and whatnot on this because I feel like we've said our piece about that over the years. Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Okay.
So I just wanted to kind of, we can say our piece about it now and just kind of move on with the more positive aspects.
They also said, there you go. Nice.
Yes, and we spent a lot of time last year talking about how sad and ridiculous a lot of these layoffs were. Sorry, I'm sneezing a lot. All right.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to say something.
No, I just keep muting myself every time I sneeze. All right. After that, some more negative news. Nintendo killed Yuzu and Citra, the Switch and DS emulators, respectively. This is the first sign that Nintendo was getting serious about, some of these guys letting you play Switch games on the PC.
Yeah, but I don't know because I still going on some spaces. I still see some of these new Switch games still being done. Like, you can still steal them. So I don't know. I guess they stopped the site, but I guess somebody else just take over. Somewhere else.
This time, Ryujinx, the other Switch emulator, still existed. Now, they eventually shut them down, as we'll talk about later in the year.
We just had Yuzu. That's right. Yeah,
but there are forks because these were open source things, or at least I think Ryujinx was. So there were forks. I know Yuzu was because somebody created one called Yusu or something like that. So these were open source things. So people have made like splits off of them and are doing their own thing. But I don't think the level of work and dedication to making this stuff happen is still working in the same way. There are also ways to play these games, if you're pirating the games on a modified, cracked Nintendo Switch. So it's not necessarily that. Hold on a second.
All right.
Sorry, the tablet died on her, so she was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, okay.
All right. Sorry, what were we talking about? The emulation stuff.
Yuzu.
Yeah.
Yuzu. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're still out there pirating stuff because you could potentially play it on a cracked Switch. Because we both have relatively early Switches, right? Before they did like the extended battery to try and convince people to buy that one because it no longer had the like hardware vulnerability in there. Something I've never explored because it's my only Switch and I don't want to buy another one if they like hardware banned me or banned my Nintendo account or something like that. But maybe one day once the Switch 2 exists.
No, already banned already, Daniel. They're gonna say, oh, what's this account? What's this account? And so he just stopped him from buying games.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. Nintendo wants me to not give them money. They're like, no, we just want you to give us more money. All right. This is also when we saw
do everything all over again. Yeah.
This is when we saw the return of Multiverses, Dominic. They had taken it down at the end of the previous year, but they actually had to come back. You know, I don't know about you, but I did not necessarily expect it to make a return. So it's kind of nice. I mean, it's obviously not, you know, it's not a Super Smash Brothers replacement, and I don't know that it's even getting that much attention right now. But you know, for the people that bought stuff while it was in beta or whatever they were calling it, to actually have a game that they can play, I think is a positive. Plus, there were McDonald's toys.
They had McDonald's toys?
Yeah, except they weren't really toys. They were puzzles that came in little tins. They were double-sided puzzles. We have 2 of them around here. This is the first inkling, I think, that we had of like actual PS5 Pro specs in March. Obviously, that will be officially announced later in the year, but we had already seen at this point kind of what we were going to be getting into later in the year. And 2K was able to purchase Gearbox out from Embracer. So this was Embracer's kind of downfall this year, until they eventually split into a couple different named companies that were all unserious. All right. In April is when Sony began to require PlayStation Network ID logins for Helldivers 2, and people got very mad about that. So they walked that back, but have instated that with all of their future games.
Yeah, because even Last of Us 2 Remaster is going to have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense.
That didn't happen. I keep thinking that game already came out. I mean, the game technically, yes, the game came out, but the remaster already came out, and it still has. Fucking God, this is so ridiculous. This is ridiculous that Sony is doing this.
Can't
letting them get away with it, Dominic. Yeah, I mean, this is so sad. Like, this generation, and I don't know how it gets better, honestly, because I just think they're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be some new games, yes, because you can't just do a remaster.
Well, we'll eventually get Last of Us 3, but not before we get, you know, the PS6 version of The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2.
Yeah,
obviously.
It's just, it's ridiculous, man.
They're going to be The Last of Us 8K edition comes with the television show on the same disc. Oh, Dominic, that's what they're going to do. They're going to release a version where you play as Pedro Pascal and the girl from the TV show, instead of just like instating skins in the game as it exists. They're going to be like, here's The Last of Us, the movie, the game, just like the Street Fighter game. I'm giving them free ideas. If this happens, it's not my fault. They probably already thought of it. All right. In May, Dominic, Nintendo finally acknowledges that a Switch successor was coming on a business call. At that point, we had already thought the Nintendo Switch 2 was going to be coming out like 6 months ago. So, you know, it's rough. We've been waiting a very long time for this thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, because if it's supposed to come out this year, it's like, I don't know, what's the holdout for like an announcement? Like I know you want to give it like, hey, we're gonna announce it at a time, but it's like whenever they do announce it, like, why wait till then? Like, what was
holding them up?
Yeah.
I hope they give us the Dreamcast thing where they're like, hey, it's coming out tomorrow. Or not the Dreamcast thing. That was the what was that one? What did Sega do?
Sega Saturn?
Yeah, the Sega Saturn thing, where they're just like, hey, it's on store shelves tomorrow. So we'll be getting pictures from like Target back rooms of like, hey, look what we got in before Nintendo even announces the thing. And then they're like, here it is. And I'll be like, okay, I'm still going to buy it, I guess. Ironically enough, we were talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows. In May is when we also saw this game announced and shown off for the first time. Xbox closed Arcane Austin and Tango Gameworks in May of last year. This was kind of, an additional betrayal, it felt like. They were already saying that they were moving to more in a third-party direction, and then they're shutting down what we felt like was, two of their major studios at the time. Obviously both, I was going to say both had faltered, but one, Arcane Austin, had obviously faltered a little bit with Redfall, but Tango Gameworks had just put out Hi-Fi Rush to great success, at least critically. Now they will also tell you financially it was a success, but seemingly debatable since they then proceeded to shut down the studio and not keep the IP. This is also when we saw IGN acquire Eurogamer, VG 24/7, Rock Paper Shotgun, and GamesIndustry.biz. A very sad trend that we will continue to see later of consolidation and closing of video games media. We also first saw some footage of Valve's new game, Half-Life Deadlock, a first-person MOBA situation, which will later get officially announced in August. A game is still not out. You just have to get invited from a friend or something like that. It's weird. And we also had a state of play again from Sony. This time we saw Concord for the first time, and we'll shortly thereafter.
That's crazy. So that was the first time we've seen Concord. It wasn't announced.
I think it had previously been announced with maybe just a name.
Just a name. Okay.
Yeah, but I think this is when we saw that video of the green guy at the cafe and the woman, and then they fall off the thing, and very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque video. Yeah. In June, we had Summer Games Fest, of course, and it really makes a lot of sense now why Jeff Keighley didn't have a lot of stuff, because he just was like, I'm going to save it all for the Game of the Year award since it's our 10th anniversary. We also had the Xbox Showcase where we saw Doom Dark Age, Gears, of course, and some hardware, which wasn't particularly new, but it was the all-digital versions and some of the improved storage.
But the Gears thing is that's the real big thing of that. They're not continuing the story. They're doing a prequel.
Yep. Which is so weird.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's like for the people who didn't like 5, I guess, and especially for the ones that's on the internet who didn't like you having to play as a woman, or whatever. But a woman and the side guy was the black man. It's like what they gone woke on us. It's like, yes, they finally going back to their roots. Where you play as the man, a white man. Well, Dom is he's white. Fuck it. I'm saying it. Come at me.
He has a good tan then. I'll say that.
Okay. Like white people don't have tans. The Italians.
I said he has a good tan. I didn't say he couldn't have a good tan. I just said he has a good tan.
Yeah.
He's Sicilian. I didn't realize that this whole time.
Exactly. So shut. He could be Spanish. What the fuck? But yeah, so I just don't it's like I don't mind this a game where this happens, but it's like when you have a story that you're not finished yet, it kind of it's like can we finish the story here?
Yeah, why can't this be something made by a different team to fill some time while you're making the next one that finishes the story, right?
Yeah, it's like so we still when we're trying to get things shit answered. I was like, okay, we're finally gonna get shit answered. Here we go. Oh no, we're gonna go back to the E-Day when they first came. I was like, oh, you fucking serious? And then what? The next game's gonna go back even further. We're going to the Pendulum Wars. we're just killing humans now.
with really archaic weapons, your your most iconic weapon from your first game is no longer relevant anymore.
Oh no, they'll figure out a way. It can it be damned?
It's going to be like you play as Marcus's father, the scientist who first developed this prototype chainsaw gun.
Yeah, exactly. So in this squad, we were the only ones using it. We were the only ones using it. And people was, and then in the game they would say, "Oh, I've never seen that before."
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Next up was the Ubisoft Forward. We saw Assassin's Creed Shadows, of course, and the Sands of Time remake is now coming in 2026. Now, mind you, it's 2025 now. So, like, it's not that far away, but this was 2024 when we were talking about this game coming out in 2026. A game that should have come out a year before that.
Yeah, because we saw the game last year at the time.
Yeah.
And, like, I know there's been some disappointments and stuff like that, blah, 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 but damn, like, this is almost literally like, oh, we're just starting over again.
Yep, burn it to the ground, let's start over again.
Start over. Like, Jesus. Like, that budget, I mean, the budget's just going to be high just because they had to start over again. I mean, because, I mean, that's really what it is. So I'm curious what that is, what that looks like. Yeah. God damn. You were better off just putting that, the same, fuck it, we're just going to put out the game we made it before, just HD it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm shocked they didn't just do that. All right, Dominic. Let's see. Next up was the Nintendo Direct. And this one, like, you know, this was E3 time, basically. Sony had done their state of play. Microsoft did their thing. Keighley did his thing. Ubisoft did their thing. And then Nintendo came in. They announced a new Mario and Luigi game, Brothership, which now is released and we know is maybe not spectacular. But they also had the announcements for Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, which was huge. Echoes of Wisdom, a new Zelda game in the isometric perspective where you play as Zelda. And we finally saw Metroid Prime 4 again for the first time in forever, basically. So I came out of this at least hyped. Like, this was my E3 style show of the time. Now looking back on it, maybe it's like, temper expectations a little more, but we'll see. Echoes of Wisdom was fine. Marvel vs. Capcom Collection is exactly what it needed to be. And hopefully Metroid Prime, when it eventually comes out, is good. All right, moving into July, Dominic, this is when we saw Game Pass restructure and raise prices. That was a disappointing time. You know, they just made it more complicated than it needed to be, really. And then, you know, to throw on top of that a price hike just feels like a real kick in the balls sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Because it's like, man, y'all doing this price hike, but we didn't listen. The
we
deal
weren't
got
getting
done
games
with
still.
Activision. Yeah, we deal got done with Activision. That at the least it could have been like, bam, all these
open the
Activision
floodgates.
games coming through. Yeah, have like at least like 15 games or something. And that may sound like a lot, but it's really not a lot if you go back like the history. You could have done that. You could have done 20 and shit. It's like you didn't even do that. You didn't even do that. Diablo is to this day is still not even streamed. You can't stream it.
That's
like
wild.
And it's just like what the hell. I don't even know if the Crash Bandicoot even came back out on Game Pass yet. So it was it was pretty bad. Yeah, like you said, and then the new games, you didn't even have that so to even fall back on.
Yeah.
Everything was still potential. Everything was still potential. So yeah, this wasn't good. This wasn't a good look at all. Like to have this happen now. It wasn't a good look at all. And then with the whole thing about Xbox going third party, the rumors are still around. It still wasn't well, I don't know, when did they announce that Indiana Jones was coming to PlayStation? That haven't happened yet, did it?
I don't think so. I think it was when they announced the release date. They also indicated at that time.
Yeah,
that
that's
it
right.
was,
Yeah,
was coming.
yeah, that's so it has. So this was while the rumors were still just going around. Like man, Xbox, what games could possibly come to the other consoles? Yeah, it was just pretty much like as far as the public just looking at Xbox, it was like a shit show. It was like, what the hell is going on here? It's like you just had your showcase last week showing all these cool games you possibly have, and now you know the announcement, and still nothing really released yet.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Dominic. Kind of in a similar fashion, we also saw. Actually, no, that came later. This one is GeForce Now was added as an option for streaming on the Xbox, which is a cool thing. Like it does show you that Xbox is kind of like more open to these things, because this is in a similar fashion if like Sony was willing to let Microsoft stream their game. You know, can I stream an Xbox game onto my PlayStation? So I think that's pretty cool. Probably also a result of, you know, like the EU stuff where it's like, yeah, you guys are streaming Monopoly. We don't want that to happen. Otherwise, you can't have this Activision Blizzard deal.
Yeah.
And then I said I didn't really have like this layoff stuff on here, but I felt like this one, again, was big enough to warrant it. Sony kind of just gutting Bungie, you know, following the last DLC for Destiny. Just a company as big as Bungie, just basically just falling apart at the seams, seemingly, after leaving Microsoft and then Activision they were working with, and then joining Sony, and then just falling absolutely on their face. It's so disappointing to see, really.
It really is. It really is, and it's like, okay, I'm curious what the future of Bungie is going to be going forward. I mean, because Destiny, like, they supposed to still be working on, what's it called? What's the next game they're supposed to be working on?
Oh,
the remake or is it a remake or is it?
I don't know that it's a remake.
Sequel?
It's probably in a reimagining. I would say marathon.
Yeah. So, I'm curious what that comes out. I hope that comes out well. And then after that, honestly, I feel like after that game comes out, more layoffs. That's what I feel like. I feel like.
Oh, I mean, if it doesn't hit, absolutely. I mean, there's no.
I don't think it matters. Like, I don't think it matters if it does hit.
Well, I would say I don't think it matters either, but I just don't think there's a chance that thing actually hits. So.
Oh, you don't think? Yeah, you don't think it will turn out well?
I don't think Marathon's going to be successful. I hope they've got something else in their back pocket that they've been holding on to, that they can be like, you know, this is for people that want live service games, and this is for, you know, everyone else, for normal human beings.
Is it normal?
All right, Dominic. Now we're getting into August. Now we're getting into some more bad news, unfortunately. This is when... just death of a legacy, Dominic. This is when GameStop shuts down Game Informer, just unceremoniously, too. Just wipes the website from the face of the earth. Any history that existed for that company is just gone in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, it was so sad. I mean, we spoke on this, but I spoke on it, especially from point of view of my history of Game Informer, which is it's a very long history since it even started. Since it started, I had the first magazine, and but I mean, of course, lately when I got older, I stopped getting it, those mags. But I still went to the website. I still used the website. There was like, as far as the website's gotten, since the game website's gotten like very popular and a whole lot of ads and shit. They were the easiest to go through because they ad blocker, and they looked manageable. They looked manageable and easier to get the news than any other site I could really get to. And they were pretty late. They were pretty late to the game as far as the online. I remember, like, even when they did have a website, it was just freaking bare. They weren't still the best ones. Like, still the best place to go to was, I mean, you had IG at the time. It was still IGN, GameSpot. Trying to think of another one. Even well, it wasn't called Games Radar. It was other places like they just kind of just started, and then as they went on, they done revamps. They got better. And I remember they were even late to the podcast game too, because all the other places had podcasts, and like they were the biggest magazine guys. They were still getting exclusives as far as like content for the magazine, because people would talk about their magazine on their podcast. Say, hey, the Game For, or the websites saying like Game For had this, and then talk about it. Yeah, but thing is, like they were prominent though. It was so one as far as media and gaming, they were the most prominent. They were the last of the batching of like the magazines. Really,
truly,
gaming,
yeah.
Except for Edge. I mean, I think Edge is still going on now.
Yeah, but that's a British thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is, but it now. I mean, shit. I mean, now you can say that. I mean, as far as overall gaming, what's the American version of that? I don't know. PC Gamer, I guess. I'm just assuming they have a magazine. I mean, I know they have a website. Yeah, it's they were like they were the biggest ones. They were the biggest guys out there, and it was like, oh, at least they were keeping basically something from the '90s that's still happening. Yeah. And then for them just to go out like that, like not even to say like something like, oh, look, like something where it's like, darn, we're not going to be here in a couple months. Like the next issue is going to be something last, so like this. At least something can be ready. Like I would be like, you know what? We're just going to announce like, hey, we're not going to have you guys for this, and like those guys can work on the last issue or something, or like somebody can work and like they can find a job, but like have something that happens where it's like they can put something out and people gonna be ready and like, oh, good, so we know this is happening and things, and then price something or like sell it to somebody like to get something from it where like, oh, the website can still be up. Maybe somebody they sold it to somebody, say, hey, as long as they have it, we know they can buy this license or whatever, or what in something. Yeah. Or if one of the guys wanted to buy it,
yeah, because I think what's his face would absolutely be into it, because all the stuff they've been doing on MinMax to try and preserve Ben Hansen, they've been trying to preserve a lot of that stuff through MinMax.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like just to go away, just to disappear.
I mean, like, how could you not see the value in at least that name? Like you said, to let someone buy it and use it or something. Like, it's just wild. It's so, yeah. It's like, just to let it go, it's like, this could be Superpod presented by Game Informer.
It sucks. It really sucks that it just went out that way. And now, like, it's like, man, it's like a little piece of history is just gone. Like, it's just like a legacy is gone from that type of space. I mean, just the way it's gone. Like, one thing, things don't last forever, but just to be dropped off like that is just really upsetting.
Absolutely. All right, Dominic. One positive note, though, Krafton, the publishers behind PUBG, they resurrected Tango Gameworks, and they've got the IP and the studio name, and they were allowing employees who had been, let go to come back under that name. So that's pretty cool. That's a positive in the year of what was pretty bad video game news. We also had...
that's good.
Sorry.
Oh, no. I'm just disagreeing. That's good that they was able to find someone to pick them up. Yeah. I mean, because especially after they've done something, they put out a good game and maybe it didn't sell
and got punished.
And that sucks. And that sucks. But but it wasn't like you put out a bad game and it didn't sell. Because we see that a lot. We see something like, oh, they didn't sell, but this also was a bad game. It was like, it's like oh well.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, it still sucks, but it's like, it was also a bad game. I mean, it's unfortunate that it couldn't be made. With this, doing something that's actually turns out well, and then the sales weren't there. It's almost like, to me, it's almost like, nah, Microsoft's got to take the loss on that one. Because in
especially
reality,
when they shadow dropped it too,
that's your fault.
know?
That's your fault. It's not their fault. They can't promote it. I mean, they can promote it as much as they can, but you're the guys that got to promote this game. And
you shadow dropped it. You chose to do it that way.
Yeah, exactly. This is on you. And look, your console ain't the biggest seller. I mean, that's is what it is. But that's not their fault.
And you still haven't put it out on the Switch yet.
And this is the guy, and these are guys that can put up quality games. So at least you have, like, you just getting rid of them is like, oh, because of like the sales. It's like, but dude, I'm getting your Game Pass stuff. Like, I need some good content. You're taking away good content.
Yeah.
Especially now that you're going third party, I'm like, what the fuck, man? You could have kept. I wish you would have kept those guys. Maybe they could have got something and got more sales from from the having now you be able to put on everything.
Yeah. All right, Dominic, let's see. Next up, Gamescom happened. There wasn't really much in the way of big news there either. Again, it feels like Jeff Keighley I mean, he probably didn't necessarily have these stories before the Game Awards, but at the same time, it feels like, oh, maybe all just the big stuff stays for the Game Awards. September, we saw Concord release and then immediately get shut down within a week. That game was
crazy.
Out of the store.
That is freaking crazy.
Unprecedented. Like a game that seemingly cost a lot of money.
And to be showed off that year.
Yeah.
It was first showed off that year. I mean, and to come out and then gone. It's like, damn. That's something.
All right. This is also when we saw the official announcement of the PlayStation 5 Pro that it would be $700. You know, one of the things I forgot about, Dominic, I forgot that thing cost $700.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Mostly because I have no interest in buying one whatsoever. But like, man.
But the people who bought one, Daniel, will tell you how good it is. Just like the people who bought Cybertrucks.
I mean, that's fine. I'm happy for them. You know, it's good and great. It's awesome, whatever. But yeah, I haven't thought twice about that price. Maybe past looking at the website when they released that Celebration PlayStation 1 color scheme one and going, man, $1,000? I don't think so.
And the people who bought the Apple glasses stuff. What was that called?
What was that thing called?
I keep wanting to say HoloLens. But
yeah, I was going to say Google goggles. The Apple Google goggles.
Yeah.
What is that thing called? Apple Vision Pro. That's what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, that probably is great, but it's like, man, for that price, it's like, it could be anything it wanted to be, but it's just not not
How much was that? $10,000? Or am I just exaggerating?
It was in a car. I thought it cost like what a car would cost,
like $4,000,
like years ago.
Okay, 3,500. Okay, because I was like, $1,000 sounds almost kind of too cheap for that. Not that.
That's like, about to say, yeah, that does sound too cheap.
Because I was like, man, for $1,000, maybe consider one.
I'm gonna say, well, that's close to the phone price.
It's not close to the phone price. That is the phone price. That's less than the phone price at that point.
Well, that's what I said. It's close. I thought the phones were more. They're not more?
Yeah, they are. They're like 13 now, I think, for one of the decent ones. Let's say I'm on their website. Let's see what a regular 16, not even the Pro. Okay, well, a 16 is only $799 only. And a 16 Pro is not $999. Okay, so they're actually maybe cheaper than I thought.
Okay, so it's close. So yeah. Okay. So it costs more than the phone. Okay, and it was close. But it's
Either way,
yeah,
still expensive, still a very niche product that maybe doesn't even have the same levels of usability as some of the other things that we have seen in the VR space.
yeah, really.
All right, Dominic, next up, Nintendo sues Pal World developer Pocket Pair. They're coming for the jugular a year after the game came out.
Yeah, really. It's that whole thing is weird with Power. It's just because it seems like they're only going after them because of the short popularity. Because it could stay like fairly popular Power World. It's just that it hasn't been out long enough for me to say like, oh, this is like super popular or something like that. Because there's been other games that have done things similar to Pokemon, and I have not heard nothing like a serious like some type of lawsuit against it. And for Power World, like I
Digimon's
said,
right there, Dominic.
and Power World is like okay, like it's only been out for going on and it's not even officially out, it's still the beta, but out for like a year. I mean, it's coming close to a year now, and it's like, dude, this isn't hurting you. First of all, it's not hurting you because it's not even on your system.
Yeah.
And like so they're on systems that people don't have. It is not like, oh, people aren't buying your game. You didn't have a game come out yet. Yeah. Your game already came out. And
it was a very litigious year for Nintendo. They were suing everybody.
It's like what the hell? And they're not doing. What do they do? Like, and then they're suing for like the like not like what people were saying, like, oh, these Pokemon, they're very similar to what the Pokemon are. And it's like, yeah, they are. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, they say they are, but it's not enough that I care like to sue.
What's it actually doing to you?
Yeah, and
you putting out a poor Pokemon product is going to do more damage to you than they're going to do.
Yeah, and then the whole thing, oh, like a ball mechanic, like I think that's bullshit. I think that's a bullshit thing to have where you can have that patent. I think that's a fucking bullshit ass thing, and but either way, all I say is that just change it to like somebody said, a square or a triangle or whatever. What the fuck?
I catch my Pokemon-esque creatures in cubes.
Or be like, it's still like somewhat ballish. It's just like a octa whatever thing where it's the
polygonal ball.
Yeah. It just just throw it in his house. It's like, what the fuck?
This is a faceted sphere.
Yeah. It's like, I make it like it's an oval, like it's a football or something like that. What the hell,
it's
man?
Like Arnold's head.
So it's like so dumb, really, with that whole thing, because it's like Pokemon is still going to probably be the most popular thing. It's not most likely. Yeah, it's most likely it's going to still be more popular, but it's just. I'm sorry, like, I mean, I'm all for this game because I'm pissed off at what y'all done with y'all game. Y'all should be, Pokemon should be far beyond what it is. Like, it'd be so much better. And you can afford it. It's like, you're purposefully being cheap to unnecessary levels here. Like, it should be full voice acting. It should be, like, the game should never ever run like shit on the Switch. Like, yes, as graphically, you're not going to look as good as probably the best games can possibly look on these other consoles and a PC. Fine. But whatever you make should still look good and run well.
Yeah.
And really, it should be a lot. Yeah. The goddamn Pokemon should say their fucking names. Like, it should not be saying, what the that doesn't make any fucking sense. That you're
nostalgia,
using
Dominic.
That MIDI fucking shit. Like language shit, man. Like, what the hell is that? It's like, what the fuck? Like, when I finally played it on the Switch, I was confused. It's like, why the fuck is it making this noise? What? This doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, man. I was like, dude, yeah, this game don't make any sense. It don't make no lick of sense like that. You are so freaking behind the times with your game. And the whole thing of like, well, they don't have to. Well, a lot of games don't have to do a lot of things, but they do. They do. I mean, a lot of games don't have to do like some games like Resident Evil and Grand Theft Auto don't have to go so freaking deep on their graphics as like having like this sway of grass and like Red Dead does something. They could have gone cheap with that because nobody would have even noticed it. But they did it like because they could. I mean, because it's bring some quality to it. Like there's a lot of things people cut out too. And there's a lot of people cut out too though because they didn't have to do, and that's fine. But it's like, yo, you have the money. You have the money to do something to be great, like to be a really good game, and you just choose not to for whatever reason.
Could have been a
and then
contender.
You want to sue these guys for actually doing something different and making something that people have been asking for. Yeah, the guns thing ain't even a thing. It's just like they let these guys are doing things that people have been asking for in your games. Cut out, leave the gun part out. And they're not even done. With their game. Because I'm hoping it gets better. Like, they have some really great story and shit to it. Which y'all could have. But y'all didn't. Y'all going slowly. Yeah, you're at the point where I thought y'all would be on probably even N64 to early GameCube levels. Like, y'all at the point, that's where I thought this game would be at.
Yeah.
Already. Because Grand Theft Auto came out on the PlayStation 2, people. You'll remember. So, I thought they were going to be like that on the GameCube. At least, I thought the N64 was at least going to be Final Fantasy, 7 kind of shit, at least. Like, oh, I can go around towns and stuff in 3D. I thought it was going to at least be that. But they didn't even get to that. They didn't even get to that to, like, almost here. Like, it was a little before, like, on the handheld was kind of half that. All right, so what else we got, man?
All right, next up, we got Simpsons Tapped Out comes to an end. Even the video game people knew when to end. They probably just weren't making as much money as they wanted to. But the show continues, the game goes away.
Yeah. I have nothing to say on that. Okay.
It didn't drag you on for 10 years, Dominic?
No, because that just showed. Since it tapped out, I will say this: it did show. It showed like because it was Simpsons. Of course, I like the Simpsons, so I downloaded the game. I tried it, and then that's when I realized I don't like phone games, and I never try phone games. And it actually did something that hurt phone games for me because maybe there are some phone games that actually are pretty damn good, and I would have got it, but that game made me wary of anything on the phone. And I just never did touch a phone game like that. Like, unless it was a puzzle game. And really, the only puzzle game I played was Candy Crush.
Yeah.
So, and that ruined it too, because I got to a point in Candy Crush where it told me...
shockingly, Candy Crush didn't ruin that for you?
No, I mean, it got me, it took a while. Because I was having fun. I wouldn't say I was having fun with the Simpsons game, honestly. I don't think I ever got to the point to have the fun.
Yeah. Time to monetization very low. Yeah.
Like Candy Crush and Angry Birds are probably the best I had with the kind of modern-ish phone games, like Android, Apple games. I mean, before that, it was Snake. it was Snake and something like along those lines.
All right, Dominic. After that, we had the MetaQuest 3S announced for $300. So I think it was the previous year where we had seen the Quest actually go up in price. So this was Facebook's attempt to bring the pricing of the Quest down to maybe get more people involved because they were seeing... VR plateau, really. I think they'd basically reached match saturation.
It really did. I mean, COVID helped people to get more into VR, but also I think it showed people what else is there?
Yeah. The limitations.
What else does it do? because I mean there's I mean the limitations has only been brought on by the people who make the games because there's more you can do.
Oh yeah,
it's just that you can't.
You're not sure about
not
the return on investment. Is
oh yeah,
what they're
yeah, and that's the
about.
thing. Yeah, exactly, and I understand that, but hey, it only can be some return if you put something out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sorry. That's the whole thing of like risking is always a risking business, but you got to make the risk.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like. I mean, I just like people. I mean, all people want to be safe, but that's not business. Then it's at that point, especially in entertainment. Entertainment is it's all risk. I mean, you got to risk it. Like you can't play it like safe. Like especially with this is something that's new.
Oh yeah.
It's gotta be a risk. And like it is like you gotta go further. You can't like this is it. Like this it gets stale. It's getting stale.
And we did at least see this year, Batman, which is maybe not necessarily doing something new, but at least is putting a level of production value into a VR game that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, it has. And I mean, the risk has got to come from companies that can lose the money,
can afford it.
Yeah, can afford it. Yeah. I mean, I get that. Or I mean, look, there's people in business who have like say, hey, you hear the stories, say, hey, we risk it. If I would have done it, I would have been locked out. I mean, say I would have been in debt or something, blah blah blah. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing, but it's always usually the passion of it that really gets people going. Yeah. I mean, I would hate for somebody that to happen, but that's what I have to hope for is that or like I said, the companies will invest to say like, look, put something out there. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. At least we tried. I mean, because look, it could be a good big payout. Because look, the potential of a payout is big. Like if it works out, like this is a great game and people are buying it. Like darn, we did it, bam, yeah. And like now we're people are looking at us and then we're getting the money. Or if it fails, like, well, it's another thing that failed. I mean, it happens. But it's got to be. I mean, I don't know how you get into the space and not take risks. That's the thing. It's like I don't know. It's like that comes with it. I mean, that's all it is. Like especially with new technology, that's what it is. It is. But yeah, I'm just waiting for it. Like I'm waiting for to see what it is. What's the next big game? For VR. What's the next big thing? Who's
gonna step up and do that? Yeah. All right, Dominic. This is the first time we saw Assassin's Creed Shadows delayed. Also, out of that year, we also got a state of play from Sony, another one, and this time they actually brought some heat with Ghost of Yotei.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Ghost of Yotei. I mean, it's good. Like, hey, they're doing a sequel. Even though, I mean, as you see, like, I don't know what if this really outrage, but let's just say for the sake of just the internet, like, because I was looking, like, I had to stop, like, I'm mad that on YouTube, on TV, it doesn't give you the option to do, like, hey, I don't want you to suggest this to me. I had to go on the PC or my phone to do that, to say, like, don't suggest these videos to me. Because they were showing videos of, like, this guy on Yotei. Well, I think I'll listen to him. I listened to him talk about one time about the Dragon Age stuff. And like, I know where he falls in line of. And I love that he talks like he's being, what's the word I'm going for? Objective. I love that. But it's like, but you're not. But I mean, like, okay, yeah, you know what? In a way, yes, you are objective, but you're objectively going to always be against. From
their perspective, they're objective.
Yeah. It's like, you're not. Because, especially after the Yotei stuff, as you say, because he starts off the video, because the thing is, the only thing I ever seen was Dragon Age Valga, so I don't know what else he talks about. Because he could be objective about that and didn't talk about other things, differently. So I listened to this. I was like, let me listen and see what he says about this. And he said, this is Yotei came out. People are probably, this is another point of where the developers are like the developers are not listening to their fans about their favorite character. And I was like, what? You talk about the guy? It's like, really? So, like, it's like you're almost telling them that. I said, wait a minute, time out. Like, the game hasn't come out yet or anything. So you're already, but you're already, like, seem like you're set up to be bad developers because they want to move on from the character that was in the first game. Who, I mean, will be dead now.
Yeah.
Because they're playing a different, like you always say, like, oh, no, they gotta continue his story. I mean, I don't know how the game ends. Like, does it end with a cliffhanger or something that these people that these people are like so angry that they like they not continue his story? Because from what I've seen other people, it's like his story ended or something. But I don't know. But it seemed like, yeah, they're making a new game with a new character, and it happens to be a person who's a woman, and it's like, okay, what's the big deal here? And like, it seemed like I just complaining because like she's a woman, and I don't know. I was like, did the story not end? And I just feel like the way I'm getting a feeling of is like that story ended or something like that. I don't know, man. It just seems a little weird. It seems weird that people are very angry just because you're playing as a woman, and like you have no other details really much on this game.
Yeah, I feel like if they had written a story that they thought needed to continue, they would very much have continued that story.
They would very much continue that story. Yes, yeah, because like, why else would you not continue that story?
That's right. Gears of War people, why would you not?
Well, they said they're the other way. It's like, oh no, we gotta go back to Marcus time and stuff. This whole post Marcus stuff ain't working for us. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's that, like I said, that whole thing is weird. Like it comes off weird. Like I was like, dude, y'all people be mad and not games. Y'all just mad at the content of the game. And I'm like, you know what? If the game comes out still to be pretty good, still a good game as far as gameplay, then it doesn't matter. Like that, I don't know. And like I don't even know nothing about this game enough to say this is bad. Like, oh no, they replaced him with the woman when technically they didn't really replace him. It's just a new story that's made by the same guy, because it's not what's the title of the game? I know Yotai. What's the title of the game? Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Yota. Okay, yeah, it's not even like Ghost of Tsushima 2. It's Ghost of Yotai.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just the outrage. I can't see it right now. Like the only outrage I can say is like, oh, the game turned out to be bad. That's it. And then it wouldn't even matter if you replaced it with him for some reason, because it's bad. But it's like, I don't know. It's like now if it was like a situation like I said with the freaking Gears of War, it's like, oh, they ain't finished the story. But I didn't hear people say that. That's the complaint. I didn't hear that complaint about people saying they didn't finish the story. So I don't. It's just fake outrage, basically. It's like outrage over shit, whatever. Like that. It's like you're trying to find it. Like I'm trying to find a reason without saying that you're just mad because it's a woman. I'm really trying to find a reason, but I can't. You're not giving me anything.
You're not giving me anything. That's why.
Yeah, you're not giving me anything to look to find another reason that's not that. Yeah. All right. So what else we got?
All right, Dominic. Now we move into October. This is when Nintendo shuts down Ryujinx, the other Switch emulator. We also had an Xbox partner preview. This is where we saw the Remedy games. We saw the DLC for Alan Wake 2 kick it off. And then we saw FBC Firebreak that takes place in the Remedyverse. Control and Alan Wake. And this is the almost like Left 4 Dead-esque shooter. It is multiplayer.
Okay.
We also had them announce that Halo was switching to Unreal Engine, and we had Nintendo announce the Alarmo and the online playtest, which is still to this day sort of a secret, even though we all know what it was. I don't know how much footage of it is out there, but I've definitely
I don't
seen
know what it was.
stuff. It's basically like an MMO, but sort of Minecraft, because you could build stuff and you were like these weird little chibi looking guys.
Oh, okay.
It seemed very odd and Nintendo. Yeah. So then we move into November. That is when we saw Take-Two sell their indie division, indie publishing label, Private Division, which we had heard rumors of them kind of gutting leading up to that. They seemingly have no interest in that. Kojima Productions also obtained the rights to Death Stranding and dropped it on the Xbox as a surprise. That was pretty cool. We saw Nintendo confirm that backwards compatibility would be included in the Switch successor. Still, just those are basically the only two things we heard officially from Nintendo about this thing in the past year. Something we thought at one point might have actually have come out in 2023.
Yeah.
This is also when NVIDIA enforced the 100-hour a month maximum for GeForce Now. Obviously, any limitation is kind of disappointing, but it seems like for the most part that wouldn't affect too many users. So that is just an unfortunate side effect of business. This is also when we finally saw Xbox add streaming of your own games to their service. They also retired avatars, and Shuhei Yoshida left Sony after 31 years of employment there, basically since the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but the streaming of the own games,
Yeah.
I'm wondering when they're going to announce some more, to that. I wonder when that announcement happens. I hope it happens before the end of the month, honestly. But I'm thinking, I hope in February, at least February, they announce some more games.
Happy Valentine's Day. Here's more games. That's what they'll do for you.
And I hope some games I actually have. Damn.
Would you buy NCAA if they made that one of the games?
Yes, and then yes and no, because I'm afraid that's going to be on EA Play, where I can just play it for free.
Yeah, I can see that.
Until the next NCAA game, which that's okay, and then there you go. Then I'll have it. I'll that. It'll be just like MLB The Show, and I'm just waiting for MLB The Show. I need to know when is the last time it's going to be on Game Pass, so I can know to buy the previous one or something. Because I don't care about going year to year on that game. Because now with the online stuff where you can just download rosters, people will literally just do it themselves, and you can just download
do all
their
that work
shit
for you.
Yeah, I was like, I'll do that. Yeah, that's only the NCAA. I will buy that game. But it's really just if EA puts it on EA Play. That's what I'm thinking. Because Madden always comes on EA Play. So I'm like, and it's getting close. There's only one more game left in college football.
All right, Dominic. Then in December, we had the Game Awards. And as I previously mentioned, this is when we had some big announcements from Keighley, including Elden Ring, Night Rain, Onimusha, an Okami sequel, and Intergalactic: The Heretic Project, a new Insomniac, a new Naughty Dog game.
What's that? Intergalactic. That's another controversial game, which nobody knows anything about, but it's a woman with a sword, and apparently she's not very attractive.
And they just can't have that.
Can't have that. You gotta have hair. A woman cannot be bald. She needs to have hair. Maybe shaved. Baby shaved. But don't make it all colorful, unless it's like anime. If it's anime woman with color hair, that's okay. But if it's like
If it's anime,
like,
all rules are thrown out the window.
yeah. But if it's like freaking, it look more like westernized or human, like woman, nah, that's liberal stuff. You people with blue hair and stuff. You can't have that shit. Like maybe you can have highlights. You can have highlights, but but it better be highlights of like black and maybe like a little like blondish or like reddish
maybe
or something.
pink.
But yeah, maybe pink. Pink is going. Yeah, but when you get like all pinks, get the fuck out of here. It's like nah. Then also they gotta have their breasts. It's gotta be like maybe double C, maybe triple C.
No.
Maybe triple C.
Bigger.
No, I'm saying it's gotta be triple C or up, man. It's gotta be something. It's gotta be with bounce. It gotta have some bounce. It gotta have some bounce. Like we can't have these people with and no sports bras. No sports bras here.
Gravity must have an effect.
Yeah, exactly. It's gotta be bounce, loosey, either no bra or very loose. Or that's all you're wearing. All you're wearing is the bra.
Indeed.
And they gotta be they gotta have some shape to them. You know what? The curves gotta be there. It's gotta be like slenderish. You know. They can't be like not too voluptuous. Like to the point where it's like close to being. Is she overweight? It's just like if you're trying to make it like, oh no, they try to make her like somewhat like she's fat or something, and trying to say, hey, fat people can move around too or some shit like that. Now you can't have that either.
I feel like this is starting to sound like a wish list for a future partner.
But no, that's the wish list they all ask for, because they always say like this is stuff when there's the character that's similar to that, they say no, this is that looks bad. And she can't have no dirt on her or nothing. But it's gotta be like a sexy type of dirty.
A glistening sweat, if you will.
Yeah, it can't be like how they had in that Fable trailer, kind of dirty.
Yeah,
nah,
obviously.
Can't be that. And you gotta wear makeup. Makeup will have to be there regardless if they sleep. Even if they get in the shower and come out, it is still on and they still look good.
Tattooed, natural looking makeup. Got it.
Exactly.
All right, Dominic. So that was the year of 2024. Obviously, as mentioned, there's a lot of layoffs, a lot of real bad stuff going on in the industry that can't be ignored. But we tried to ignore it. So what do you think, Dominic? Looking into the future, well, I guess we need to look one last time into the past.
Yeah.
To look at our predictions from the previous year. So let's see. We'll go down the list of yours first. First up, this was kind of one that you had carried over from the previous year. As we were going through the previous years, you were like, add that one to the list. Capcom Heavy Hitter release. We did not necessarily see a heavy hitter released this year, but we saw them announce some pretty big things. I mean, Onimusha alone is kind of a wild return.
Yeah, Monster Hunter is going to be coming out later.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be seeing that in February.
When is it coming out? Is it coming out this month or next month?
I think February.
Okay. So yeah, they had announcements, but yeah, they didn't really have an actual release.
Dragon
I'm trying to think.
Dogma, right?
Oh yeah, Dragon Dogma did release. Yeah. But it didn't turn out as big as I thought it would be.
Nah.
Like it's like, yeah, I thought it was gonna be like one of those games that's gonna be on people's Game of the Year list.
Exactly. Yeah. The fact that it really did not show up a lot there was surprising to me. Went as quickly as it came. Next up, Dominic, NCAA college football would be shown off at the championship game, which was basically like the week of recording that podcast. There ended up actually not being anything at that game, but they did shortly thereafter announce that it would be released on July 19th.
Yeah, they heard the podcast.
Yeah, they were like, let's delay this. They did the Nintendo thing that they've been doing with the Switch too. They were like, oh, we're gonna push this back to spite everybody. All right. Next up, you said that March would be when we would see the first launch of Blizzard games on Game Pass. And then they would be releasing them piecemeal. You expected to see like older games like Worldcraft and StarCraft. And March actually was the first time that we saw a Game Pass game. It ended up being Diablo 4.
And only fucking one until when it
like
the
crash.
Next one yeah, and
like
I mean,
sometime in the fall or something. It feels like.
Man. God damn.
Yeah. So that's Gears being shown in 2025. They come out piecemeal,
man. They came out freaking holidays, man. Basically, like the next seasonal, almost seasonal.
Once a quarter.
Yeah. Good God.
All right. You said Gears of War shown in 20.
I'm trying to think right now. It's Crash and a Spyro. What else has come out? Well, they did for PC.
For PC
StarCraft.
They did.
They done StarCraft. Did Warcraft come out too? PC?
I think it coming. Did.
But for console, I'm trying to think. What else came for console then?
I think that's basically been it, Dominic.
Yeah, Crash, Spyro, and Diablo. Because they're two different versions.
And Call of Duty, if you want to count that.
Oh, yes.
We did get one Call of Duty, right? The last one?
We got Call of Duty 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Modern Warfare 3.
Modern Warfare 3, yeah.
Not counting the newest one. We got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So those games. So you got those games. Damn, 4 games.
Yep.
Out of it's all wild. The shit they got. Fucking, and then you're going to go up and come on, Microsoft. Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole fucking industry, man, could go eat one. God damn.
All right, Dominic. Let's see. Next up, Gears. You had said that was going to be shown and released in 2025. That was shown. We'll see if that is going to release this year or not. Did they give a date on that at all? They didn't, right?
I don't think they did.
Yeah. I had also had that on my list.
So I was right. So it was a Gears. It just wasn't the sequel.
Nope. I didn't expect that. You had anticipated PS5 streaming would get more competitive, come to the PC. That unfortunately is not really
it did not happen. The case. Well, it did. It did come to the Portal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just not, I don't know if we consider that competitive, but okay.
It's something. All right. We also had Switch 2 showcase on February 14th, released by, or showcase between February 14th and March 31st, and then a launch between May and December.
I gave it a wide berth, and I still did.
And they still failed us all. And you also had gameplay trailer for Perfect Dark, but won't release, and that was exactly right. They did show off that game.
Yeah.
I think this was you kind of grasping at straws at the end. Wind Waker Super HD, as you called it, will come out in 2024. That did not happen, unfortunately. We instead saw a completely new Zelda game, which was kind of cool, but also give us that Wind Waker HD, please. Yeah. Xbox-owned games would come to cloud streaming, and they did, finally, a limited number. And I think even in your verbiage, you kind of indicated that you would expect it to be a limited number. So you got that one right on the head. And Wolf Among Us would release between May and July. Maybe May and July of 2026, Dominic. That's the way that's looking right now.
You gotta see my prediction, because I forgot I even predicted that last year. But prediction for this one, I'm very it's either hit or miss with this game.
Yeah,
when I get to predictions, I'll get to it. But yeah, because I didn't even think about me doing a prediction for last year for that game. But yeah, darn it. I mean, the game was when it was announced, it said 2023.
Jeez.
Like, I looked at the trailer. It said 2023. Yeah. And now we're at 2025. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Like, they really, like somebody says, like, them like it's one thing like people keep saying like yeah they're just working on the game. Well, if they're working on the game, that means there's something they can show.
Right.
Because if you're working for this amount of time, like just let me know that you're doing something. Like just show a fucking screenshot. Fuck at least know like oh it's still there. They're still happening. I don't know.
All right, Dominic, and mine were a PS5 Pro would come out in the holiday of 2024, along with the Ghosts of Tsushima 2. Obviously, that game did not get announced or did not launch alongside it. It did get announced.
Holiday, yeah. Because when did it come out? November or October?
It came out in November. Yeah.
November, yeah. So yeah.
So it's somewhere around there. Tease Gears of War, did mention that earlier. Fable 2 comes out in 2024. That did not happen at all. I expected the Switch 2 to come out holiday of 2024 with games at $70 and the console at $400. We still don't know what the games or the console will cost because they still haven't even announced that thing. I expected Microsoft to launch a mobile store in 2024. It sounds like that's in the works, but they still haven't quite gotten the permissions that they want to have that in the iTunes and
the mobile
Android store.
Like for their mobile type of games.
Yeah, I was talking about like their acquisition of King and like the ability to sell Candy Crush and stuff like that. Obviously, they've also talked about selling Xbox games directly through, in a phone app so you can stream them.
Okay.
We'll see. It sounds like a lot of that is maybe held up in court right now because they're trying to get it into like the Google Play Store and the iTunes Store, but we'll see. Metroid Prime 4, I did not expect to launch alongside Switch 2, but I did expect a new 3D Mario to launch alongside the Switch 2. Obviously, with that console not coming out, those games, we don't know when they're coming in relation to that console either. Yeah. And then I said that I expected AI to become a bigger selling point for video games in this past year. And I don't think that's actually been the case, thankfully. I think there are some studios that have mentioned it as a positive, and obviously like the internet is abuzz with AI being used everywhere. But thankfully video games have not really been
video games haven't used it. Yeah, it hasn't been buzzword around video, but it's something that we just hear all the fucking time.
Oh yeah. I mean, I am shocked at how quickly we went from like not having these things to everything being a Gemini or a whatever Cortana. I don't know what Microsoft's new thing is called off the top of my head, or the like new AI Siri, like all these things.
What's the one on X? I'm sorry, Twitter.
Grok.
Called, Grok, yeah.
Yeah.
Grok. I keep Grunk. Every time I see it, I think Grunk.
They should do a commercial with Grunk. They really should.
But just like with X, I call it X. This is the first time I actually call it X, only because it's funny because I was just thinking about Yvette, the person I listened to, or her show, like how she said she was reading, because she says Twitter all the time, but then when she reads something that says X, she said, why is this called Twitter? It's like it's such a stupid name. Because it is so stupid. And like, yeah, I mean, look, I get it, the publishers, people and stuff like that saying X, yeah, but I still call it Twitter, man. It's just dumb. X. So I don't get on X. I mean, it's
I forget that I can just type in X into a web browser and get there. I will still write out the word Twitter to get there.
Oh yeah, I still do Twitter. I mean, most of the time it usually all finishes, so I just hit enter. But yeah, most of the time, I don't think I ever did. Yeah, even though X would be easier to do, but I don't think I ever did it. I don't think I ever put the X.com.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Well, always finish. If I put X, they'll all finish just some porn site or something, and then I'll hit enter. I'll hit enter, but it'll just take me to there. It's like, oh,
well, I'm here now. There's no difference from the website I was going to anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Dominic.
So
Those were
predictions?
our predictions for 2024. So, what do you think? What do you have for this upcoming year?
So for this year, my prediction, I say there will be a new Major League Baseball game announced this year. It probably won't be like a simulation, but by some company, maybe or some. It'll be some type of arcade or something.
Backyard Baseball 2025.
With Major League Baseball license with it. That's not the show. That's what I say. Are we going back and forth? Or we just want to go through my list?
How many do you have?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think just 8.
All right, I got 8 too, so we can go back and forth. My first one here is that a new 3D Mario game will not launch alongside Nintendo Switch 2, but it will be out by the holiday, presuming that the Nintendo Switch 2 does in fact launch near the beginning of this year or mid this year. Kind of the reverse of what I said last year. I think it's more likely that the Metroid Prime 4 will launch alongside that console, and then Mario will not launch alongside that console. All right, what else do you got?
Oh, well, I have the opposite of that one. I have Switch 2 launch with the new Mario game.
All right.
That's what I said.
Well, one of us will be proven right or wrong, or both of us will be when they delay that thing into 2025.
Did you say 26. New 3D Mario or just Mario Parody?
A new 3D Mario is what I said.
Oh, see, I didn't say, I'm not saying 3D. I'm just saying it will launch with a new Mario game.
Does that count as Mario Kart?
No, I don't count Mario Kart. Mario Kart is just Mario kind of characters. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I would say just Nintendo, but it's just really Mario. I mean, they finally put Link in there, like in that DLC, but
Is the Mario Kart branding too good for them to just start calling it Smash Kart at some point and putting all of the Nintendo characters in it?
Probably so. But they got such a stick up their ass that they will still call it Mario Kart regardless. Even though they should just put all fucking characters in there.
Yeah.
From Nintendo. Like Kirby should be there. Because who the fuck's nobody's gonna buy Air Riders again.
We won't be fooled again.
Yeah, and like just put Kirby and then what other character, the Pikmin character or something. Just put all those fuckers in there.
All right, Dominic, let's see. Next up, Xbox continues to try and get their games on Sony and Nintendo consoles. I think they'll take a more serious approach. I mean, I don't know that they weren't being serious about it, but I think they will make more efforts to put things on the Nintendo console once the Switch 2 is out. I think we'll finally see Hi-Fi Rush. I think we may potentially see a Halo Master Collection on a Nintendo Switch by the end of this year, if that console does come out again.
Say that again? You saying say that again? Because I'm looking at mines and
sure.
What? So what did you say your prediction was?
So basically, I'm predicting that Xbox will increase their efforts to put out more games on the other consoles, specifically even so Nintendo consoles. As we see a Nintendo console that is powerful enough to, like, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if possible. Well, maybe it's not possible, because the PC stuff with Indiana Jones seems like it's been kind of a roller coaster. So I don't know that even with the like upscaling AI technology that Nintendo would be using on this console, if they would be able to pull that off in any way, shape, or form. Because I was thinking maybe they would even go to the effort of trying to get like Indiana Jones on there. All right, Dominic, what's your next one?
All right, my next one is Final Fantasy VII Remake will come to the Xbox this year.
It's got to at some point.
Yeah, I'm not
is
saying
it just the first game though, or do they get both?
I'm just saying if they get both, it's because one of them came out like maybe like months before the other one, so it has to be time. So if the remake comes out in like September, the next one ain't gonna come out till next year. So it would have to be at least probably like 4 months in between, maybe. Mm-hmm. And at minimum, I think.
I feel like that first game you got to get on Game Pass too, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
That way you can get those players in and then maybe sell them that second game.
Yeah, but if they, well, I know I'm not buying it. Well, I already beat it. I mean, really, it's integrated, and I can play integrate through that PlayStation Plus thing. So, because I'm not, I might play it again on Xbox, but then again, I'll just play it on PC. Well, only because I get the achievements and get the points for playing the game, through Xbox.
Right.
Those points for like getting games and shit. But yeah, if that's the case, I'll just play it on PC then. If it could, I think I can run the first game. I'm not sure about if the second game comes out. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah. All right. I expect Gears to. Now, as I say it, I'm not totally convinced. Let's walk this back. I expect to see a release date for Gears of War by the end of this year, and I expect it to launch within 3 months of that release date on the PS5 as well.
Oh, okay. I ain't got nothing similar to a Gears, so I'm just gonna go here. I'm saying Power World is gonna be on the Switch too.
Oh, it's gotta be. Although I say it's gotta be, but they gotta go through approvals through Nintendo, so I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be a launch title for that.
Yeah.
I think, and
all depends when the Pokemon comes out.
Yeah. Oh, that's very true, because we don't know when Pokemon ZA comes out. So, Pokemon Day is soon, though, Dominic. So we may have those answers. Xbox. This feels like I'm putting my neck out there, but I think this is going to be a big release year for Xbox. It's not necessarily going to be, they're going to put out Fable and Perfect Dark and Gears, but I think Fable comes out this year, and they're going to have Avowed. I think there's some other projects that we don't know about, whether it be officially or even at all. There are rumors that they're working on an Oblivion remake that would be coming out this year. I think despite the fact that they're still not going to be selling consoles very well this year, I think they're going to have a successful video game year. People are going to come out of this year positive on what Xbox released.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, what do I want to do next? Oh, yes. I'm saying Madden will come to Switch 2.
Oh, I believe that. Absolutely. And then they won't make another one after that.
I was thinking, because I was like, wow, there isn't a Madden on Switch. But I was like, they can probably get Switch 2 to have a Madden.
Here's the question, Dominic. Do you put Madden out on Switch 2, or do you put NCAA football on Switch 2?
See, that's the thing. Because NCAA football didn't come to the PC, so I don't know what the hell they're doing with that.
Because it's only a next-gen console thing right now, so potentially they don't have the infrastructure to run that on that.
Yeah. So, I have no idea, but I'm going to say there will be a Madden. Now, I'm curious, will it be along the lines of a Switch, of a like how NBA 2K does Switch. I don't know how NBA 2K does Switch. Is it that's just a different game, or they somehow just made it look made it run?
I think it's just the last generation's versions of that game for the past 10 years or whatever.
And with Madden, what would they do for the Switch 2? Would that be powerful enough that they can just kind of down res what they currently have?
Do they still make an Xbox One version and a PS4 version of Madden?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Then it's going to be that.
Okay, it'll be that version. Okay, gotcha.
That's what I would see them doing there. Unless they have mouse controls on the Switch too, and then they'll let you use that as well. All right. Sony, I think, is conversely to the Xbox thing. I think they're obviously going to dominate the market still outside of, Switch, which will be its own thing in and of itself. But I think we see Ghost of Yotei this year. I don't think we see Wolverine, unfortunately. And I think because of that, Sony's going to have a pretty quiet year.
I agree with that. I mean, I didn't think about I honestly didn't think about no Sony games.
Yeah.
I didn't think about any of them.
And that's the thing. I don't know that there are any to think about right now, but I think that it's going to stay that way too. I think, we might get a game here or there, but I don't think we're going to get...
The third party is going to be their biggest game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right.
Well, it's going to be impossible for Intergalactic and Roll Tide to be good because they got women.
They didn't put a date on Intergalactic, right?
I don't think they did.
Because I guess theoretically that could come out this year, but I just don't see it. Because, what has Naughty Dog put out since Last of Us 2? Just more Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
So, theoretically, they've been working on this game for a while.
So it should come out this year.
Should.
And if it takes that long to do the games now, then that's when you gotta say, okay, costs too much. Start making cartoon characters again.
Yep. Everything looks like Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Created by AI. All right, what else you got, Dominic?
I got Wolf Among Us 2 will come out either in the summer or fall. Or if it don't, it's not coming out at all. It's canceled.
Oh no.
And I'm saying when
so
it does come out...
So it's this year or nothing, huh?
Yeah. And I'm saying when it does come out, staff will be let go at this release.
That's too real, Dominic. That's too real. Is it going to be good or bad, or does that have nothing to do with the fact that they're still going to get... Okay.
It's nothing to do with it. They're going to be gone. Like that, it's going to be it's going to be a hell of a layoff. I don't know how people work there. So yeah. I'm saying a file won't be left or something like that, and then it get some new people or something. I don't know, but I'm saying a good whatever people is in there, 50% are going to be gone, or they just shut down. This is one or the other.
All right. Speaking of companies in bad shape, Dominic, Ubisoft, I believe they will be entering some sort of business agreement with some other company this year, whether that be completely getting bought out or a strategic partnership or what. But they are going to be not the only people making the decisions for Ubisoft by the end of this year.
So you're saying you think they're going to be bought out, right?
Or they come to some 50-50 agreement or 49-51,
I hope they don't get bought out. Yeah. I hope
they won't get bought out outright. They'll still be Ubisoft, but it'll be Tencent is, or the Saudi Arabian government is now the majority owner of Ubisoft.
That's probably the best case scenario for me, Saudi Arabia, because Tencent, I think it's going to be something where we can't get stuff from China, and then we can't. We'll be able to get some Ubisoft games.
There are tariffs on Ubisoft games now.
Yeah. All right, so I got because I changed my Switch thing because I said Switch to the price too, but I didn't realize the current Switch was $350.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying there's gonna be two versions of the Switch, and I don't think it's gonna be this one has more memory, or I said memory,
storage,
more storage. I think it's just gonna be a color scheme thing like before. So I think it's gonna be a gray, and then it's gonna be a different color one where I don't like the colors.
A kitty looking one.
Another one. Yeah. And that's what I think. I think it's gonna be two SKUs for it. And I'll say the Switch. Switch is $400. I was really just thinking it'll be the same price at $350, because I just think that they don't. Yeah, they get
their beak wet from the games. They don't need to bend us over the couch for the
I mean,
console.
they don't need to, but yeah, I was going to say 350. I put it this: if it's 400, I just don't care about having one personally. Like 350, I could think about it. I was like, I think about it. But the 400, that's where I'm just all in on gaming handheld.
Yeah, because how much is a Steam Deck base right now? Let's see, $399 for the LCD. Okay, that's a little more.
But the
than I thought
LCD
it
is
was.
$399.
Yeah,
I thought the OLED one was that price.
That's what I thought. But
that must be
OLED
like how many storage? How much storage is that?
That's $256 for $399, $512 for the OLED, and that's $550, which I did not realize it was.
I thought that was cheaper.
Yeah, I thought it was too. That's a little surprising. So I jokingly mentioned tariffs. Do you think they're gonna have an effect on the Switch 2 price?
The chair? Oh, I don't know. I mean, if it does, I mean, I hope not. I mean, I have no idea, honestly. I have no idea.
Yeah, I wonder how that. I can't help but wonder how much of like Nintendo's waiting to announce things has to do with, waiting out the inauguration and seeing what gets put in place like immediately.
Yeah,
because like seemingly these things are getting produced, and all the talk was they're trying to avoid like scalpers, ruining things by just having so many that they'll just be available to everyone. Which surprisingly, if that's actually true, like how are we not seeing even more leaks than we're already seeing? Or are they just like throwing people off the roofs of plants every time they like touch one without gloves or something like that? Yeah. So back to me then.
Yeah.
All right. A new original game will be announced from Double Fine. I think it's about time, Dominic.
Yeah. I mean, I think so too, Dan. Because I'm like, damn, what's these guys doing?
It also feels like they feel like a company that would announce and release in the same year. I'm not necessarily ready to commit to that, but
Nintendo
that would absolutely
do them. So we can
don't do them.
You the hell out of there.
Don't do them. But yeah, I could see that game coming out, and that would obviously add to the Xbox's big release slate this year.
And it's going to probably most likely come out on all the other systems too.
Yeah.
That means there'll be no Double Fine exclusive game.
Oh, that game is coming out on the Nintendo Switch too.
No, I'm saying that's ever since they got them, they haven't got an exclusive.
Yeah. No, and they shouldn't. I mean, honestly.
I mean, no, they shouldn't now. But it's just that it's like you realize how big it was that they got them. It didn't even matter.
Yeah. It mattered for them. I think that was a bigger win for Double Fine than it was for Xbox, honestly, because I think that put them in a relatively stable position. I say this, and
that's true.
2 months from now, we're going to hear about how Xbox is shuttering Double Fine or something like that.
What would Double Fine would be doing right now if they weren't?
Yeah,
didn't have that.
We're talking about a studio that was getting crowdfunding like before everybody was doing crowdfunding. So we'll see what that game is, hopefully. All right, what do you got, Dominic?
This is my last one. I'm saying there will be DS games coming to the Nintendo, like in the virtual kind of, well, not virtual, whatever they call that shit.
Yeah.
For the
Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, online. They will have DS games now.
Let me ask you, how do they do that? Is that they're going to be able to do some sort of casting thing like people have speculated with this, where your TV will be your upper screen and your bottom screen?
Oh, fuck no. I ain't think about that. I just think it's going to just all be on the home. I don't think, hell no.
Like the Castlevania collection, where it's like they've just got two screens on here. You see both of them.
Yeah.
Okay. I still wish, if they do that, and I hope they do that, I really hope they let you turn that thing sideways. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I hope too.
Like how?
I hope they do the sideways thing, like with it. I mean, that's what I was thinking in my head though. Was like, hey, look for Special DS, you can turn the screen sideways. And it's
Now
like,
that
okay.
I'm thinking about that, Dominic, that makes me kind of upset that the Castlevania collection, I don't believe, does that, because that is a thing that you can just do on the Nintendo Switch right now, and some games have supported that. So, like, they should have did that.
That's so weird that they didn't.
Well,
Honestly.
it's such a niche thing because it's not like an officially supported like accessory. You got to get that the game flip thing that totally ripped off my concept, and I will mention every time I bring up that thing.
What? All you have to do? What? So what?
I mean, you could just prop it up sideways, I guess.
I just say just prop it
Or
sideways and just
sit
have
it on the
a
table
controller.
sideways.
The controller on the bottom, whatever that controller is.
Yeah.
Oh wait a minute! Let me see how you hold a switch. My switch is in my bag somewhere.
Let me see how you hold a switch. Normally the long way, Dominic.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm trying to say like the controller. How would that work? Because the controller would be on the bottom.
Yeah, no, you can't hold it like that. That'd be awful.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say touch this touchscreen. But you might as well just got to do like what phones do now.
Nope.
I mean, well, people play like that. More people play like that than much as I hate it. But apparently, people. I mean, this is how people are playing. Not everybody. I think it's more people. Yeah, because people are playing those phone games.
Yep.
Like that. So
there's probably more kids playing Fortnite like that than there are people playing regular video games with controllers.
Exactly. So I'm saying it would matter. But then again, like, are those people buying those games? But I don't know. Yeah. See. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you couldn't. So Castlevania. So okay. So you couldn't do that because you had to have an accessory. Well, that's why I wish that Nintendo would had something for the Switch 2 where it would be like some way you can have
it connects on all four sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, they can release a third, not a third party accessory, but an additional accessory somewhere down the line to do that, and maybe we do see that eventually.
So maybe you have to. I mean, like the whole thing of that. I think that's just too much. I can't see Nintendo doing the whole TV thing.
Yeah,
it seemed like I'll be surprised if they did that.
I also just don't know if that works. I mean, they obviously did that with the Wii U. So, I mean, they have a precedent for it. But to me, like having those two screens right there next to each other was kind of part of what made that work. Whereas like having the TV up there and the controller in my hand, I don't know if it works quite as well.
Yeah.
All right, Dominic, I have one last prediction here, and it was added last minute after you had mentioned a game during the break. You're not going to get a new episode of Being a Dick this year. It's going to go a whole calendar year, no new episode.
That's yo, I don't know. I think you will. The whole thing is that now, if you would say the next episode, will I get one the next year?
Yeah.
I think that's more likely to say no. I will not get the episode 12. Episode 12 will not
because they got to be pretty far along with this current one, right?
27. Yeah, he is. He's very far along, but he still haven't announced a date. He is far along.
Gotcha.
He just haven't announced a date. And he's still working on it, but some people are predicting I see a end of February, March release. But that, I mean,
you got to release it on February 14th, Dominic.
No, they I don't think he's exactly going to do that. But it was working out though. It was working out with these holidays because this is like the Christmas episode technically, and the Thanksgiving one came out after Thanksgiving, but still it was it's close enough. Yeah. And I was like, hopefully, hey, that guy who was working on that game, he's the one I said he quit the job. Yeah, he quit his job and say, yeah, because I got enough money to be growing the game and stuff. And I'm like, they must be getting a lot of money on these Patreons. I don't know. I haven't been on this Patreon site in a while. So they must be giving some good amount of money. And yeah, I'm just saying that darn, I wish he would just do less little sex scenes and more of just focusing on the story. Because I'm like, look, like I told you before, I said, for anybody who's like, you got like 10 chapters worth of stuff that has done. Like, I honestly don't know what else you can do that to make. I mean, I guess just new. I don't know. I mean, it's a whole porn thing. I guess it's like, hey, it's always like new scenarios or something, or maybe it's new girls. I mean, the thing is, because I always feel like you got to establish girls now. Like, I guess it possibly could be new girls in this, but I don't know, man. I just, because I'm not into that part of it. I like the story. I like the whole story and the whole, like, because of your choices, what is done. Like, I think he did a good job with that for this guy just making this game basically, and really a world where like you don't have to do this in this world of like adult games. So adult games is really like, hey, show girls with big boobies and show them having sex, and that's
and
what
attach a weird puzzle game to it.
Yeah, he went really full on like, oh, I'm gonna make actually an actual decent story here. I mean, I'm gonna make a good story that you actually would care about characters, which is that's a funny thing. It's like, oh damn, this guy, I guess he was like, hey, this is he went a whole different direction than what those other games are. I can tell you that. But it's also taken a very long time. So it's like, darn, I want to kind of finish the story. Because the other game, he did finish that story. I don't know how long the game took. It probably, I have to look back. Because it was already done. His first game was already done when I heard about it.
Right.
So it was an ending and everything. Now, graphically, it looks nowhere near like what this game is. But it was good enough. Like I said, because I don't really care about the sex stuff or anything. So it was good enough. I would say this. I've never seen any sex scenes in my life via a computer that's been done like this. But then it's like, I don't really care either because I'm not really into that. But hey, I'll say like, wow, he put a lot of work in that.
Yeah.
Oh, Hour 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Darn, I watched like 3 Buzzard games in a fucking row while doing this podcast right now. It's something crazy.
That's why we're going to wrap this podcast up, Dominic. New releases, I didn't even look, honestly, and this is getting a little long, so we can always add them to next week's podcast.
Okay, yeah.
Plus, I highly doubt that there's much of anything.
I was about to say, was there anything like huge, like worth talking about? I don't even know.
The latest Zelda game came out.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. All right. Thank you guys, as always, for listening. You can check us out on Twitter. Dominic's at DStalworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Superpod.
Oh, damn. Football started.
SUPAPOD. Superpod.com is the website. You can check us out there. Has links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts.
I don't even know where these games are.
YouTube Music, and Spotify, Amazon, any other place you can find a podcast. And until next time, guys, talk to you later.
All right, see ya.